Welcome to episode number 48 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I am your host, Triple J. Joining me is my co-host, Dr. Games 101.
Hey guys, what's up?
And I hope you enjoy the next 2 to 3 hours you spend as we go over the latest stories and news in gaming. Ready to jump in, Dr. Games?
Indeed I am.
All right, the first one. Let me, so people can see it if they want to follow along. 2 more classic games coming to PlayStation Plus accidentally revealed. Sony unveiled its new and revamped PlayStation Plus service that combines Plus with PlayStation Now back in March. Then Sony revealed some of its PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 3 and classic games lineup, including a selection of PlayStation 1 games that would be coming to the service. That list wasn't exhaustive, though, and now 2 more classic games have seemingly leaked, as reported by Eurogamer. Funnily enough, it appears to have been PlayStation itself that accidentally leaked the 2 new classic games, Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, and Ridge Racer 2. Oddworld is for PlayStation 1, Ridge Racer 2 is for the PSP, because fans found both listed on the Malaysian PlayStation Network store. At the time of this writing, the Abe's Odyssey page is still up, but the Ridge Racer 2 page takes you to a window that says not available for purchase and nothing else. You can also view the Malaysian's PSN listing of 2 previously announced PS1 games coming to PlayStation Plus next month, Worms Armageddon and Worms World Party. As Eurogamer notes, in the Reset Era post, where this seemingly accidental leaks were first found by players, you can view multiple screenshots from the Ridge Racer 2 listing. Over on Video Games Chronicle, you can view nearly 10 minutes of Abe's Odyssey in action, including a look at its emulation and how the rewind feature works. While PlayStation has yet to officially confirm whether Abe's Odyssey and Ridge Racer 2 are coming to PlayStation Plus, it seems all but guaranteed. The Malaysian PlayStation Network page for Abe's Odyssey even shows PS1 emulation in the title. While waiting to see if these 2 games hit the revamped PlayStation Plus service here in the West, read Game Informer's breakdown of all the games announced so far, and then read about the 3 different tiers, determine which one is the best for you. Do these games make you more excited for the PlayStation service?
To be honest with you, I haven't followed PlayStation in years now, as far as in a loyal customer sense. I do have my PS2. I bought at least 3 PS2s over my lifetime. And my 4th PS2 was my first ever PS2. That was with my uncle back during Christmas of 2001. One of the best Christmases, if not one of my best moments of my life. Having a PS2 ever with many different games like Metal Gear Solid, Thunderstrike, Operation Phoenix, as well as Crash Bandicoot, The Wrath of Cortex. But that's PS2, but now with PS5 and PS4, to be honest with you, they don't stand out to me. I can't remember which one that kind of stands out. But if you think of games like PS4, the remake of The Last of Us Part 1, those games I want to play sooner when I get my PS5 if it's going to be backwards compatible for a PS4. So I guess my true answer, or my defined answer, is I'm not sure yet. So see the trailers, see more of the gaming advertisements that they have to show, encourage you to watch more of it. What YouTube can do is also partner with the gaming companies to do that. They did back in 2016 to 18 of personalized advertisements where they'll play a trailer or a short advertisement of that game, and I could be like, oh, I'll play that game. We'll try it out. That because I don't see everything on Xbox in a certain manner. With everything, does have to go to the store and browse such. What PlayStation can do is amp up their gaming by advertising more. Only on PlayStation this, only on PlayStation that, and I'm like, okay, it's encouraging more and more to buy more of the PlayStation games. So,
well, what I was really aiming at was, I know you never had a PSP, so obviously you wouldn't care about Ridge Racer 2. But did you ever play Oddworld, the Oddworld game, or
for years? I heard of Oddworld for many years. I never got to get into it yet.
Okay, and did you ever play either of the Worms games?
Earthworm Jim? I'm not that.
No. Like Worms Armageddon and Worms World
I never even heard of it until you mentioned it tonight. So it's kind of like a surprise. I mean, you can tell that my focus on Xbox for almost 14, if not over 14 years now, is consuming over PS games, and I did my best to try to keep up with seeing PS content, but if I don't have the system, I'm not gonna be able to see it properly. So
Right. Well, the thing is, I think I've played the Odyssey game just once, but I think that was the Xbox one. Um, I never played any of the Worms games. I have heard of them, but I never played any of them.
right.
Um, yeah, I'm just more interested in seeing what's going to be revealed. I don't have a PlayStation 5 or a PlayStation 4, but I am happy to see something that seems that's going to be a contest that's going to be contesting Game Pass, especially since Microsoft is games with gold is just a disappointment every month.
hmm Yeah, especially the games with gold is definitely a big effect on how much you want to buy more of the Game Pass or the Ultimate Pass. Actually, it's either just buy the regular $9.99 a month um, Xbox Xbox Live Gold, and that's about it, and not the Game Pass because it's well, actually, the Game Pass you can buy separately too. So I would say stick with the Game Pass, but not with the Xbox games with gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, we got a story coming up at near the end, which because I might just turn my well. I'll cover it when we get there. I don't want to spoil what we have for the rest. So you ready to move on?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, next story. Gloomhaven is coming to consoles in 2023. Gloomhaven is a dungeon crawling board game that required a little muscle from the player as its massive box weighs over 20 pounds. That heft is the conversation starter that helped Gloomhaven find the audience it rightfully deserves. It's a great board game experience that was recently adapted into an equally as notable turn-based tactical RPG for PC. And now developer Flaming Fowl Studios and publisher Asmodee Digital have plans to release this digital version on consoles in 2023. Asmodee is working with Saber Games and Embracer Group on this console port. No specific systems are known at this time, but Asmodee's tweet announcing this project shows an image of an Xbox controller. The digital version of Gloomhaven offers a story campaign with nearly 100 missions that support four-player co-op. Dive into dungeons with your friends and strategize as you play cards tied to your mercenary. Asmodee just last week released new DLC for Gloomhaven called Jaws of the Lion. Game Informer's Matt Miller is a huge fan of Gloomhaven, raving about the board game in his monthly Top of the Table editorial. Quote, a centerpiece game for any dedicated player's collection. Gloomhaven is a sprawling cooperative dungeon crawler in a richly imagined and gritty fantasy world playable across an interconnected campaign that takes many dozens of hours to complete, end quote, he wrote. Mixing the story-driven, fantasy-focused miniatures and progression-oriented play first popularized by North American RPGs with the minimization of luck players have come to expect from Euro-style games. Gloomhaven is a complex beast of a project, but it's also one of the most inventive and rewarding board games in a long time. If you're willing to commit the significant time and energy it takes to uncover in beautiful charms. We'll have to wait to see what is in store for the console versions, but given the announcement timing, there's a good chance we'll learn more soon. So, have you heard about Gloomhaven?
I watched the trailer earlier today, and if not last night as well. It seems like one of those not tabletop literally, but it seems like one of those not live, but it's like a turn-based system, a turn-based gaming type of game of sorts, similar to that of Final Fantasy VII, and but not that interesting as Final Fantasy VII because it has a good story and all. But Gloomhaven, they didn't speak on the story as much. It's basically just the gameplay, and I will play it as the sake of knowing more how to beat my enemy, whatever. But as far as like the story is concerned, it's not gripping me like Warhammer. At least Warhammer has some kind of backdrop in each of their games of what's with the Warhammer 40K stuff. Um, and also, Gloomhaven was similar to the Banner Saga game I played. That was part of the Games with Gold. I still got the game. It's called Banner Saga 2, if not Banner Saga 1. They gave Banner Saga 2 made a free Games with Gold back at least 5 years ago now. And last time I played Banner Saga was at least 2 years ago. And back then it was good. I played the Banner Saga 2 game and it was alright. I should get the triple pack, the trilogy, excuse me. They haven't put it into a bundle yet over in the Xbox store after all these years. But yeah, Banner Saga is similar to that. Banner Saga is similar to that of Gloomhaven. It's just that Banner Saga is more of the medieval related theme, you know.
Okay. I haven't heard anything about Gloomhaven. I haven't seen like the trailer or anything. But it sounds like what could be. I don't know. This is just a guess. But if for anyone who's played Fable Heroes, they used to like you'd go through the level and then they have like the board game section. And I'm just thinking maybe Gloomhaven's going to be something like that board game part, where you actually rolled dice, you went around a board, and what space you landed on was either positive or negative for your character. But turn-based role-playing games, I have played those before. Big fan of those, so I'm interested in seeing what Gloomhaven's going to be like when it finally releases.
Yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay, next. Grand Theft Auto 6, Everything We Know. Rockstar's open-world franchise is returning with what fans are calling GTA 6. Grand Theft Auto is one of the most popular and best-known franchises in gaming, and expectations are high for the next entry in the series. Rockstar Games has announced Grand Theft Auto 6, though it technically hasn't been given the game an official title yet. While details are thin at the moment, we do know a little about it as we head into not E3 month and Summer Game Fest. Who's developing GTA 6? Grand Theft Auto 6, as fans are calling it, despite Rockstar not officially announcing a title yet, is in development at Rockstar Games. Rockstar North, based in Edinburgh, Scotland, is leading the game's development, but these days Rockstar's entire network of studios is known to work collectively on the same project, not unlike how development on Call of Duty is distributed between teams. Rockstar's latest big game, Red Dead Redemption 2, was developed by multiple teams. After years of speculation and assumptions, Rockstar Games officially announced in February 2022 that the next Grand Theft Auto is in development with production well underway. Whether or not the new game is called Grand Theft Auto 6 or something else remains to be seen. While Rockstar isn't ready just yet to divulge specifics on the next GTA, the company said its general philosophy with new games is to significantly move beyond what it achieved before. With the unprecedented longevity of Grand Theft Auto 5, we know many of you have been asking us about a new entry in the Grand Theft Auto series. With every new project we embark on, our goal is always to significantly move beyond what we have previously delivered, and we are pleased to confirm that active development for the next entry in the Grand Theft Auto series is well underway, Rockstar said. We look forward to sharing more as soon as we are ready. Rumors about Grand Theft Auto 6 have been plentiful. One of the more intriguing rumors is that the game will have a Fortnite-style evolving map in some capacity. According to some scuttlebutt, this would allow Rockstar to frequently change and adjust GTA 6's world map, similar to how live service games mix things up on a regular basis. Other rumors have suggested GTA 6 will be set in the 1980s, though reporter Tom Henderson has rejected that claim, saying the game will in fact take place in a modern-day version of Vice City. In terms of playable characters, it's suggested that Rockstar will have multiple playable characters, a storytelling device that began with Grand Theft Auto 5 and was much praised at the time. In Grand Theft Auto 5, the three main characters, Trevor, Michael, and Franklin, were all male. However, rumors suggest that at least one of the characters in GTA 6 will be a woman. Some of the other rumors in the mix for GTA 6 is that the game could launch as a timed exclusive on PS5. This would be a huge deal, but not necessarily surprising. GTA and PlayStation have been partners for some time already, and in the age of exclusive content, Sony paying Rockstar for some kind of exclusivity would continue that trend. So, what do you think about Grand Theft Auto 6, what we know and what we've heard.
I'm still stuck on playing GTA 5 for 10 years ago. I'm kind of stuck in GTA 5 for the time being, story mode, because I have the last heist slash mission with all three characters, right? So I'm kind of stuck without the strategy guide. I'm trying my best not to look at the YouTubes and the cheat codes and stuff like that, cheatcodes.com, cheatcc.com, you name it.
Wait a minute, are you talking about the last heist or the last mission?
It's a mixture of the last heist. Like I do different missions for the heist.
Okay, because there's some, I don't know if I should spoil it. The last mission, actually I'll spoil it a little bit. The last mission, Franklin gets a call from the FIB, and they basically tell you, we don't care if you kill Michael, we don't care if you kill Trevor, but one of them's got to go. If you decide to show loyalty to both of them, this whole organization is going to take all three of you out.
Right.
And then that's when you got to make your choice.
I hope it'll be very clear and cut to the chase, because I don't want that, over exaggerate. It can be over exaggerate to some extent. Don't get me wrong. I like a good story with a good oomph, good mesmerization of sorts. But but don't be like make people select only one. Try to help them. Like it's like Walking Dead, Telltale games, those type of games. Now that's intense. When you play the Telltale game of season 1 of The Walking Dead, you had to choose between the reporter and the fat guy. I chose the reporter easily because she has a gun. The fat guy doesn't. Sorry to my fat people out there. So something like that. That's intense. But I knew as an adult that's what I want to select. I knew that she's the one for me. Well, as a girlfriend, else as a bodyguard. I can't complain. 2 things in one, rather than 1 thing in one. Well, I'm serious though. Back to GTA. I will admit this. I haven't focused too much on GTA for the last couple of years. Last time I played GTA 5 was at least a year ago now. It feels like a year ago. And the last time I played it constantly was at least 5 years ago. And I'm still playing for the first time ever. The first playthrough of GTA 5, so I'm trying to the story, the features. I haven't actually do the biathlon, the triathlon, or the golf, the jet skis, the racing, and as well as GTA Online. I'm still level 10, if not level 11, in GTA Online after all these years. And
don't forget the Strangers and Freaks missions.
That too, Strangers and Freaks. I've been playing played a couple of those at least easily, but the GTA Online, I played that a sufficient amount of time. Not too much, but it was fun. Especially back during the Xbox 360 years. Because after when it converted to the Xbox One, then PS5, and so on and so forth, people were overabundance in good gaming content. And this was a good experience playing with at least 15 other people in the same game. And we're not talking about a free-for-all team deathmatch or whatever. We're talking about some sort of competition. You do parkour and shit. You climb up on top of these buildings and platforms. It's like Super Mario meets, Conker's Bad Fur Day in a sense, but with guns. So, but yeah, it's an interesting experience. So I cannot wait for them to come up with GTA 6. I'll definitely wait for another couple of years at least. By that time, I should finish with GTA 5 and understand the full lore of GTA 5 and then move on to GTA 6.
Okay. So GTA 6, honestly, I would love if they went with giving us the protagonist of a woman, because we never had that. Sure, Grand Theft Auto 3, you had, I think, Catalina. You also had her as a partner in San Andreas, but we never got to play as a woman. They were always a supporting role for the protagonist. So that would be something cool if at least one woman joins the team. I'm glad it's not going back to the 80s, because if they're going to go back to the 80s, it should be like Grand Theft Auto 1.5 or something. Because every Grand Theft Auto, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's always been modern day. Well, maybe not 1 or 2, but ever since Grand Theft Auto 3, every time they released one with just a number, it's always been modern day of when that game was released. Grand Theft Auto 3 took place in 2001. Grand Theft Auto 4 took place in 2008. Grand Theft Auto 5 took place in 2013. So Grand Theft Auto 6, I would expect it to take place in the year it comes out. Mm-hmm. You want to do something where you go back in time, that's what Vice City and San Andreas was for. I think it would be great if they put a woman on the team. In a game in a gaming world where everything's been done, that's one thing Rockstar hasn't done in the Grand Theft Auto series yet. If I'm playing with someone badass like Catalina or Kendall, even from San Andreas, 4 and 5, there wasn't really any women in 5 that I wanted to play as.
Right.
And 4, I guess the only woman I remember is the one that turned on Miko and his cousin Roman at the, I think near the end.
Mm-hmm. I gotta play GTA 4 as well. I heard that's good stuff too.
Yeah. Grand Theft Auto 6. It sounds great with what little we know. They squashed the rumor that it was going to go back in the past. And yeah, I really would love to see how many people we get to control and what characters they give us this time.
Right.
Anything else to say, or ready to move on?
Well, I would like to let people know that I did a Let's Play back many years ago, back in 2016, of GTA 5 on the Xbox One version. I will try to do another gameplay if I figure out the story mode of itself and see if I gotta go forward. Because I finally did one recent mission back a year or two ago for that last heist. So, and I found out thanks to Warcorp 666, he played GTA 5, and he shared people that you can go to the police station and steal a car for the gauntlets or some shit like that, or whatever the mission was. So I said, okay, I'll go to the police station in that area, but okay, I remember to memorize it now, because I'm still memorizing the map of GTA 5. So that's all.
Ready to move on?
Yes, indeed.
Spider-Man could have been an Xbox exclusive. Marvel exec explains how Sony's top-selling game ended up on the PlayStation. It's wild to think about a world in which Insomniac didn't make one of PlayStation's fast-selling games of all time, and yet it very nearly happened. After cutting a decade-long partnership with Activision, Marvel Games had been shopping the Spider-Man IP to other major publishers. Taking on external IP didn't fit with Microsoft's business strategy at the time, and they declined. Sony took a gamble by investing in Spider-Man, and it paid off. And as originally spotted by VGC, the book, The Ultimate History of Video Games, Volume 2, details how Spider-Man ended up becoming a Sony exclusive. Though Activision had been publishing Spider-Man games for almost 14 years, Jay Ong, the executive vice president of Marvel Games, felt that the publisher wasn't doing enough with the IP. He noted that The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which had released in 2014, had scored in the 40s on Metacritic. Ong thought that superhero tie-in games weren't regarded very highly for most of gaming history. You judge superhero games by a different standard, a lower standard because most superhero games and most licensed games were pretty poor. As a result, publishers would give studios very conservative budgets for superhero games. The standard changed when Arkham Asylum went on to sell 10 million copies. As a result, Ong decided that it was time to separate from Activision. The Marvel executive was looking for a publisher that didn't settle for crappy licensed games and could see the IP as a long-term investment. Nintendo was out since they mostly worked with their own franchises. Xbox wanted to focus on their own IP. When Ong approached PlayStation, he sold it to their VPs with, "We could beat Arkham and have one game and maybe multiple games that could drive adoption of your platform." And that was how Sony would eventually end up staking $100 million on a Marvel game. They gave the project to a well-regarded independent studio named Insomniac Games. Insomniac had a long track record for technical excellence, and their previous game featured parkour-based gameplay. According to Insomniac CEO Ted Price, the studio was the most enthusiastic about Spider-Man. The developers related to how Peter Parker was an underdog and an everyman. Spider-Man drew favorable comparisons with Arkham Asylum at launch, which had always been Ong's goal. Arkham was the one that changed the low standard narrative, he said. It was inspirational for us in the early days. So, what do you think of Microsoft passing on Spider-Man when basically they had first opportunity at it?
Hmm.
Any opinion or?
Uh, I'm sorry. Let's see here. Oh, it's Spider-Man exclusive, right? Yes. To be honest with you, I never played in a Spider-Man movie in gaming like it. Just when we played that together back in 2015, 2016, give or take. And yeah, that's the last time I played a good Spider-Man game. And now with Miles Morales and all this other stuff, it's yeah, I'm very surprised that it could have been an exclusive, the new Spider-Man game.
It could have been an Xbox exclusive instead of a PlayStation exclusive. I'm surprised, especially with Arkham. You know, the success of Arkham. I'm surprised Xbox didn't see the money in it. You know, Arkham Asylum was revolutionary in how superhero games were. Most of them were hit or miss before Arkham Asylum came out. But yeah, I'm just surprised that they didn't see the money in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, you would think, especially with Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Spider-Man was in at least 1 and 2. I don't know about 3. I never got to play 3. Yeah. But you know, you would have figured, you know, with the success of that game. But then again, that 3 was a Switch exclusive, so.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just surprised that Microsoft, you know, didn't, you know, wasn't interested.
Well,
I think that
they didn't try to put it exclusive for Spider-Man, but I bet they're gonna do that with the Bethesda games, like what's that called, Fallout and things like that. Definitely gonna be. They're gonna do their best to be exclusive to the PlayStation, and I mean to the Xbox and the Xbox Game Pass and the Xbox Ultimate Pass. So. It's going to be interesting to see what will happen. What will they do with Bethesda's games and the company itself, for also Activision and Blizzard and so on and so forth. So it's like, you know, it's yeah, man, this is going to be interesting times in gaming even though it feels like the worst time right now. At one point with the 3 worst games of 2021, Call of Duty Vanguard, Halo Infinite, and Battlefield 2042 made it worse at the time back last year. Now we're starting to see them picked up, you know, with GTA 6 and the Gloomhaven. You know, it's getting there. So, and one day Xbox, PS4, or PS5, Xbox Series X and S, they'll have their prime in their moment, prime moment of game, they want to call it. So.
Okay. I just gotta go for a minute. I heard something. I was ignoring it, but I just want to check it out. I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure. So from our friend here, Triple J, but I do want to talk more about Spider-Man, and you know, I played. Well, it's one of those PS2 games. I forgot what's called exactly. It's a Spider-Man game, and I remember the last level of the game. You had to go through like, you know, a explosive building. You gotta go. You use web attacks. You gotta run, sprint, jump. You know, the buildings exploding all over the place. It's crazy. So it's you still there, Triple J?
Yep, I'm back.
Yeah, I was talking to our audience that you know, there's this PS2 game of Spider-Man, right? And at the last level of the game, the whole building explodes. You got to keep moving outward, go ahead and escape from the building. This is like when you go up against the red Spider-Man, not the original Spider-Man. There's the black Spider-Man, which is the one with the alien stuff, and then also the red Spider-Man, which is more gruesome than the black one. So it's kind of, you know, because you have to fight him at the same time leave the building. Kind of weird moment, but it was interesting. But I would want to play Spider-Man on the Xbox. You know, on the see how good it is. You know, it's
right.
You know, Now I'm not
Yeah,
talking
I'm
about Miles Morales though. I definitely want to play the other Spider-Man, the previous Spider-Man game, the second most recent.
yeah. Well, because Microsoft not seeing money in it, it's now exclusive to PlayStation. So
That sucks.
yeah, ready to move on.
Yep.
All right, next. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 release date announced. The next Modern Warfare is coming out later this year. In a new tweet from the official Call of Duty Twitter account, the studio announced Modern Warfare 2 will be released on October 28th. In addition, the over-the-top video clip gave a sneak peek at some of the characters and potentially the cover art for the upcoming sequel. Not content with a simple cover reveal and release date, Activision revealed the key art for Modern Warfare 2 by putting an oversized version of the image on a shipping boat and having it docked to combine into the full image. The key art features an operator with a skull mask, but unlike the grim and gray look of the first Modern Warfare reboot, Modern Warfare 2 is going for a neon green look. Check out the art below. That um, Activision Blizzard, huh?
I said, go on.
Activision Blizzard officially announced Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 earlier this year. The annual franchise will be handled by Infinity Ward this year and will be a sequel to the 2019 reboot. Early details say that Modern Warfare 2 will center around U.S. Special Forces fighting a Colombian drug cartel. This could also be the last annual Call of Duty game, as it was reported that 2023's Call of Duty game will be released in 2024 and that the series may no longer be an annual franchise following Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. However, reports also suggest that Activision Blizzard is committed to keeping the next 3 Call of Duty games multi-platform. So, are you excited for Modern Warfare 2 coming out at the end of October?
It seems interesting. I haven't seen the trailer yet, or the reveal trailer that came out with it sometime this week, or last week at best, or at the earliest. I did play Modern Warfare 2019, and I own a copy of it for many years now. I hope when Modern Warfare 2 comes out, it will stay permanent, not permanent, but near long term on the Xbox One, at least, because from what I gather from the previous Modern Warfare 2019, they literally, on purpose, from what I hear, there's a statement going around for the Modern Warfare 2019, they purposely shut down their servers or made the servers unplayable because they try to encourage people to play more of the Warzone game. That's their cash cow. And if even with Modern Warfare 2019, you still get microtransactions going, buying skins and all, they want you to buy more stuff with the Warzone, which I don't get them focusing so much on Warzone. So if they can focus more on Modern Warfare 2 this time when it comes out, at the time that is, you know, you sell skins, you can sell cosmetics, you can sell rectals that are like, you know, fancy looking, or earn them through means of earning. Everything will be fine. And I hope also Modern Warfare 2019 will still continue to be on the servers after Modern Warfare 2 was released. I don't like the fact that I paid a $65 game and they shut down the servers, or they messed up the servers on purpose for players to play on, just to make sure we play Warzone. And I think that's very sketchy on their part. If that's the case, then why you having so many different packs downloaded? Because now it's like the game will be unplayable, and to a point where like you have to have all packs or don't play the game after the servers got shut down. Because if you want to play offline campaign co-op or offline campaign solo on the one for 2019, you're lucky to play it still if it doesn't require any packs to download after that. And I thought it was the case, before, because they were tricky too. 2 months after the release of Modern Warfare 2019, they finally add the microtransactions things that make sure to get good ratings right after its release. That's good trickery right there, and I hope they won't do that for Modern Warfare 2. I want to see the full review of the matter, from in and out of the matter, because I don't like the fact that every Call of Duty has been more thought about making pay to play than more about playing the game with quality without extra money. So, but the younger crowd or the younger gamers, I do talk to younger gamers who are as young as like 18, 19, 20 years old, and they understand where I come from too. But that's the minority. the majority of the players, like, who are like 16, 17 years old still, they're gonna eat up the microtransactions of the rectals and the cosmetics and all. So it's crazy right now. So
Yeah. I missed the days when Call of Duty didn't have microtransactions. But anyway, yeah, if you want to play the, I guess, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 reboot, it's coming out it'll be out at the end of October. So people can make plans. People can make plans with their video game budget.
and if you try to pre-order it, you should not. You should wait till the day of the purchase. Now I understand with pre-ordering you get like free cosmetic skins and stuff like that, but it's their way to make more money with the pre-orders. But it's kind of strange to say that though, from what I'm saying. But think about it, like the pre-orders determine how much they can put effort into the game. Sure, the more people pre-order, the better, right? But they're gonna look at it as more of like a cheap way to make money, a cheap, easy, quicker way to make money. Because once the pre-orders come in, that means that you're not locked in, but it feels like you're locked into a pay-in system. And because obviously within a few weeks after pre-ordering, your order will be the money from your account will be taken out, and that's good, right? But it's something that I don't like about pre-ordering as of late. I tried pre-ordering Devil May Cry 5. I know it's a different topic in game, but Devil May Cry 5 was they had you pre-order to get 100,000 free orbs, different skins, different Nero weapons, Dante weapons, and different cosmetics of these weapons. And I got that. I was so excited for Devil May Cry 5 because I'm a big fan since the very first game. But now it's like, they make you pay something to play better at the game of an offline game. So I hope when it comes to offline games as well with Modern Warfare 2 reboot, it's not the case, and obviously multiplayer will be a different story where you earn it. I hope they'll fix that up, with
right.
Modern Warfare 2. So I'm good.
Okay, yeah. Well, also, I just want to say, with the situation going on in the world today with Russia and Ukraine, I wonder what they're going to do about that third level that was in the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
No Russian. Yes.
They're probably going to just take that out. You're probably not going to have the chance to play it if.
They don't.
But then again,
spend the money. Then fuck that shit. You tell me you want to pay a full game, you got to take that scene out or that gameplay out.
They might.
They got to reduce the price. Then that was the most shocking thing of 2010. One of the most shocking things in game history of the 2010s was the no Russian scene for Modern Warfare 2. So.
But I do remember in the original Modern Warfare 2, they did let you skip it if you wanted to.
That's the thing. If they put that in, the option in, right before the mission, it will say, "Oh, do you want to opt in to play or opt out to play?" And that'll be great, perfect.
So, and they said some people might find the content of this next level
gruesome,
or upsetting. If you want to skip this level, please choose to do so now. I
don't like the fact that what comes down to regular players, casual players, try to scream and holler for like censorship. We want to censor this game. This is too bloody for young gamers. There are also adult gamers too that play this. That's why it's rated M for mature. Hello, people. So it's like, if you don't know your ratings for it, if you don't know the regulations behind the gaming community or the gaming industry, that means you shouldn't play the game at all. No offense. It's to a point where it's like, I can't listen to these kind of gamers who say they're for free speech and free expression, but they're going to censor everything they don't like about the game because it hurts their feelings. My feelings were hurt too many times when I play other games, like, I don't know, like Resident Evil or fucking historical games like Medal of Honor or whatever. You get to shoot Nazis and shit like that. Like, oh my god, you're hurting people. And all that. There's a digital entity. It's like a digit. It's just digits. That's all. That's what you do.
Yeah.
You play
it's entertaining.
Yeah, entertaining.
But our questions about this will be answered obviously when the game comes out and people start doing Let's Plays of it.
Oh yeah.
Or streams of it.
if they include a no Russian thing with no opt in or opt out, that's when they're gonna censor the game if it shows too much gruesomeness. And
Yeah.
I hope that's not the case. I hope they'll leave that no Russian scene or no Russian mission alone and let people play it. Let certain people play it that are up who want to see the gruesomeness of war. Genocide, assassinations, massacres, conflicts, wars, aggressions. That's all tied in into the art of war. That's in modern art of war. Excuse me, not Sun Tzu's art of war, but the modern art of war, inspired by Sun Tzu, I should say. So I'm still reading Sun Tzu's book on the Amazon Kindle, and it looks like they didn't fuck with the information. So that's a good thing, and I'm going to read more of that art of war and see if it's interesting to learn from.
All right. Yeah. So I do hope that if I know they're going to change it somewhat. Modern Warfare 2. It's obviously not going to be the same game all over again. I would say one thing I would like to see more of is in the second mission when you are riding those snow bikes down the mountain.
Oh yeah.
Definitely give us more levels like that. That I would love to see. That was one of my favorite. Besides the Russian mission, that riding those those snowmobiles down the snowy path. That was one of my. That was one of the most fun parts of the game.
Oh, yeah.
For me, anyway. In a single player campaign, at least.
Wasn't there like an avalanche you could chase from as well?
I don't think so. I think there was only one of those missions where you were the snowmobile.
Okay.
Ready to move on?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Next, Dream Daddy Dev reveals new psychological horror game. Homebody will launch on PC and consoles later this year. Publisher Rogue Games and the developer behind Dream Daddy, a dad dating simulator, Game Grumps, have revealed their new horror game, Homebody. Homebody is a narrative-driven psychological horror game evocative of classic slasher films of the 1980s, coming to PC and consoles later this year. The game follows Emily and her friends as they are haunted by the memories of the past in the form of a relentless killer. It's up to the player to discover a way out of the house before they are all picked off one by one. Players will uncover the secrets of Emily's past and find a way out of the house, all while avoiding the killer, solving puzzles, and making dialogue decisions. We're obsessed with horror games, so when coming off of Dream Daddy, it was a natural shift to explore the horror genre, said game director Joy Griffiths. We were excited to retain the narrative and storytelling values we learned making Dream Daddy and put them to use in a game with a totally different tone and ambitious new mechanics. A brand new announcement trailer was also shared featuring Emily walking around the large home with what looks to be fixed camera angles similar to the original Resident Evil games. We're huge fans of everything that Game Grumps does, said Chris Archer, Chief Strategy Officer at Rogue Games. From their comedy to their game development, Game Grumps embodies everything we want to amplify as a publisher, and we're thrilled to help bring Homebody to players later this year. So my question to you is, does Homebody sound like a game you would be interested in playing?
I gotta see the trailer, see how good it is, and
they have a trailer or something here. Since I'm still on the page, I'll play it, or at least I'll attempt to play it.
This right this second. It's no problem.
Let me see. I guess I can't play it because. All right, so.
What's it called?
No,
again?
It's called Homebody.
Oh, okay. I'll look at
it. So would this game be something you would be interested in playing in based on what you heard?
Well, I'm not a big horror game. I mean, Resident Evil is one of my favorite games to play of all time. And having not been for Resident Evil, I would not get that involved with horror games too. That includes later on Fatal Frame and I believe Evil Dead Hail to the King. That was like around 1990s. But Resident Evil definitely helped me understand those games. Evil Dead as well as Friday the 13th, as well as, like I mentioned, with with Dead by Daylight, things that matters. So it's gonna be interesting to see this game, and see this game in full motion, and it's gonna come out what? Well, actually, why don't
Uh,
you hear that? It's related to the slasher films of the 1980s, like Jason
yeah.
and Freddy Krueger. So if they're gonna incorporate the original elements, the original uh, antics of the movie into that game, that'd be great. It'd be rated M for mature by default, or it could be rated A for adult for the gruesomeness. Like you want that real act, the real gruesome, the real gore and violence and shit like that. That'd be great. And involve sex too, in the matter. That's what the Friday the 13th was based on. Was the first three of them at least was the sex related matter, like see girls stripped down and not to have bikinis or doing skinny dipping at the Crystal Lake and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, that's what Friday the 13th was based on, was sex and violence. So why not, right? For this game.
Yeah. This sounds like a game I'd be interested in playing. I don't. I hope the puzzles are easy enough to figure out. Because like puzzles and horror games always end up stumping me, no matter how easy they end up being. But also, they said dialogue choices will decide how things play out. So, yeah, this sounds like a game I'm interested in, and I want to hear more about it as as we get closer to the release.
Mm-hmm.
There is no release date yet, though.
Right.
Ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay. Next. NFL Rivals is a new blockchain NFT video game coming next year. Players will collect and trade NFTs for NFL players in NFL Rivals set for launch in 2023. The National Football League has announced a partnership with Mythical Games to create what is believed to be the first officially licensed blockchain video game. NFL Rivals lets players become a general manager with the aim of assembling a winning team and competing against other GMs. NFL Rivals is a blockchain game that uses NFTs. Players can collect and trade NFTs for NFL players, though a list of players was not announced. The game will be released on the Mythical platform in early 2023. NFL consumer products boss Joe Ruggiero said in a statement, "The interest in NFTs and video gaming amongst current and prospective fans continues to grow, and combined have accelerated the NFL's exploration of new gaming models that can deliver an unmatched experience to fans." Before the game releases in 2023, Mythical and the NFL will launch 32 unique generative 3D NFL franchise-themed NFTs for the league's 32 teams. This officially licensed collection will provide owners access to special events, in-game rewards, and other unique features, the studio said. Mythical Games is a blockchain technology company best known for the games Blanco's Block Party, which lets players unlock new characters via gameplay or by spending money, including with cryptocurrency. Each character in the game is an NFT that can be bought and sold through Mythical's marketplace. If NFL Rivals doesn't sound interesting to you, EA Sports will release the next Madden game later this year, while 2K Sports is making an arcade NFL game as well. So how do you feel about NFL Rivals?
If it's totally based on NFTs, I'm not gonna play it. I mean, I understand it's a new way to encourage new people to play video games and all. But in the end, it's about making more money than the game itself. So it's like you buy the base game, what, $65, $30, $40. Hopefully, it doesn't cost no more than $40. Because after that, after $40, kind of like, what's the point? Because I'm spending more money than the actual game of $40 itself. So I understand these companies of today, these gaming companies, they want to make money. They want to make people pay to play, pay to win especially. And that's what they did with the Blitz program, or the Blitz mode in Halo Wars 2. In Halo Wars 2, at first, it was alright to play, I heard. But then when they introduced the Blitz mode, and I was like, cool. Then all of a sudden you found out that you gotta pay in order to win. You earned it in the Blitz mode, but it's gonna take you a long time in order to get up to a certain level. And they tried to move that in a similar fashion back in 2016. But now, since it's been 6 years, 5 years after the fact, it's like, who cares now? The younger gamers, the newer gamers, and whichever age they are especially, They don't care about uh, money problems. They think they have all the money in the world, and why not spend it on NFTs? And I'm like, that's bad investment. NFTs. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible to make money off of, but it's to a point where it's like, when it's going to end all this microtransactions, these unfinished games, and they focus too much on just microtransactions and NFTs as of late. And it's stupid. It really is. Like, you have to worry about the game itself before you're worried about making more money off of the game. That's how it goes. If you want the players to come back for your product, you don't make them always spend always at the same time. You have to encourage other means. Okay, you buy this base game, the Time Crisis, for example. You saw how good it is. You saw the rail shooting game, fighting to get the president's daughter and killing Wild Dog in the process. And it was a terrorist group with Gio Grande, whatever his name was, in the first Time Crisis, whatever. Very good stuff. Kind of like realistic in a sense, but and the Time Crisis 2 and 3, like, it gets better and better. To a certain extent, it was getting better and better. But then all of a sudden, they started including more of like cosmetics and all, and you have to buy more gun cons for every PlayStation game. So it's kind of like like, what is it worth it after a while? As an example, it all sounds like gun con. Okay, you paid good money to play the game at a good experience, right? That's not bad. But now, if you want to include NFTs and all, it looks stupid. That's all.
Yeah. This is going to be a game basically for people who also. Another thing I don't like. While you can unlock players and things that you would want through gameplay, this is really going to be for the people who like pay attention to NFL stats and know who are the best players to go after, not the casual player that plays Madden. Like I do. That plays the franchise Madden mode, and still uses the X Madden every play. This is going to be for like people who really pay attention to football and stats and know which players are great, which players aren't. And I'm not interested in this game.
Oh yeah.
And I wish we didn't have to deal with NFTs. But I mean, if this is how they're going to be used, at least offer a way that you can unlock the best of the best through actual grinding of the game. And I guess really it's only going to be worthwhile to the people who know this field. That's all I got to say about it. Ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay. Next. Latest Sims 4 update adds custom pronouns for all. All is fixed in the world. Currently, Maxis and EA say the new options are only available in English. Whoop-de-doo. A new Sims 4 update released yesterday added new pronoun options to the latest entry in EA's long-running life simulator. So does that mean I could be a toaster? While this update, players will be able to set their Sims pronouns, including completely custom ones, without the use of mods across all platforms that The Sims 4 is available on. The long-awaited feature was first teased back in January. Long-awaited? When EA and Sims developer Maxis first announced plans to add more pronouns to The Sims 4. Before this update, gender and pronouns in The Sims 4 worked the same way as in past Sims games, locking each sim to a binary choice between he, she, and him, her. Now players can choose to give a sim they, them, or even create custom pronouns. Great, I'm sure 8% of the population is ecstatic. The new options can be found in the Create a Sim section of the game, where you build characters to play with in-game. Previously, the top left of this section featured an option titled, Hello, my name is, and players can name their sim. Now that button has been tweaked and reads, Hello, my name and pronouns are. Making your pronouns is a bit complicated. Quick, do you know what a possessive-dependent pronoun is? But EA has added some example sentences to help folks create their own pronouns easily. Oh my god. EA also confirmed you can change your sim's pronouns whenever you want. Yes, because people can't pick a gender and stick with it. This new update was created with the help of GLAD and the It Gets Better project. Nothing gets better while this crap is going on. Before the update, players could alter different gender options, such as if a sim preferred masculine or feminine clothes, or if they could get pregnant. This was all added in 2016. But no matter what options players picked, they would still have to settle on male or female pronouns, making it difficult and frustrating for folks to create non-binary or gender-fluid sims, which is a small part of the population. Now the game will use player-specified pronouns throughout, including during pop-up notifications and in menus. This is a big step forward, or backward, depending on your prerogative, making an already fairly progressive franchise mode open and accessible to all. Oh, God. I feel ridiculous just reading this. However, EA does caution that the team is still working to improve the update. How about getting rid of the update? It warns that some grammar issues could appear during certain parts of the game due to how pronouns are handled and how complex The Sims 4 is. EA also explained that the new update is only available in English, though it has plans to add new pronoun options to more languages in the future. Still, it's a big and welcome change, not by me, that will benefit many players. Many players? I like to see your definition of many, and let them truly be themselves in game. The update is out now across all platforms. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first, since you feel more pain.
Okay. First off, non-binary, gender fluid. Do we really know how many people, population of 330 million, just counting population in the United States? Do we really know how many? Tens of thousands of people may confirm to that, and how many of those actually play video games? The Sims, I thought they were the stupidest one. I thought the stupidest thing they ever did was when they added the Star Wars DLC pack, because no one wanted to come across Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker in a Sims game. But this is just ridiculous. This is just pandering. This is just no one really cares. I mean, why are we pandering to such a small fan base? Why does The Sims feel that's so necessary? I mean, great, you're gonna have 10 new players in the game. What's the point? I mean, are you really that woke where you have to virtue signal in this way?
It's a simulator, so they want to make it as realistic as possible for casual players, and it's appealed towards really to female players as well. So I guess they're trying to make more people of that base, or of that audience, or of those type of gamers. Because let's face it, Sims is for gamers that are not gaming intensely. It's just like a casual experience. It's about interacting and gaining notoriety and popularity among your peers. And that's what it's like in real life too. Don't get me wrong, but it's like not the pronoun bullshit. Like, I don't know if excuse my language, but it's to a point where it's like, now it's like Kamala Harris, the vice president of the United States, says her pronouns she and her publicly in a debate or whatever. I'm like, that's one example that's creeping into the psyche of America. So 5 years from now, if not 10 years from now, the newest generation of people growing up, they'll be like, yeah, I'm she, her, I'm they, them, I'm they, demon, or it.
I'm toaster and toasted.
I'm Apache helicopter now. Look at me. I'm gonna blow up shit. You want to stop me? You see what I mean? You see where this is going? Like,
yes, it's ridiculous. That's the whole point.
It's like, is there any gamer out there other than Triple J and I? Please do not follow this trend. For the love of God.
Yes. As a matter of fact, boycott The Sims 4. Or boycott this update if you can.
Hell, boycott Sims altogether. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't even play Sims. The last time I played Sims was with my girlfriend back in 2005 of the urban version. It's like the urban city where you're this rapper wannabe or artist or whatever theme that you want to, or career you want to choose, and you live in the city, you do your cooking during the daytime as a cook or whatever, as a cook at the kitchen, and you come at nighttime to be this famous star live on stage like the next I don't know, Beyonce, Jay-Z, whatever you want to thinking of, it was like, okay, this is too much. That's her name, by the way. That's her name. It is too much. I can't play this anymore by myself. I'll play it with you, whoever at the time I was with, my ex-girlfriend at the time. But it's after that, it's like, yeah, I'm not playing this until another girl comes in my life and be like, I want to play Sims 4. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Fuck. All right, my lady, put your pronouns in.
Yeah. Well, I don't have that much of a problem with The Sims. I played the original on PC in like 2000. I even played to Sims 4 was available. I forget how long ago for a free play weekend, and it was kind of funny how I had a bedroom and a bathroom. And my sim, if he wanted to make food, he had to go to the park and cook in the grill in the park, even at midnight. I did not. Because I had like 20,000, but like I had bulldozed a house, and just to buy the lot was 18,000. So like I had 2,000 to build room by room.
An incomplete construction job, great.
But that was funny, and that's why I could get into the Sims games again. The reason I said I don't is because all the DLC with the Sims 4 would go be like over $700 if you wanted to get everything, and that's just too much. $700. Video game consoles don't even cost that much now, even when they're first released.
Yeah.
So that's just way too much money to spend on one game, even if I did stream it, which I would if I had it. But this BS, yeah. I mean, here's the thing: if any people with an identity crisis, I'll say, wanted, really cared about this option, they'd already be playing The Sims. How many more people do you really think this update's going to get? That's why I don't understand. Why are these corporations so brain dead in their thinking?
It's not necessarily the corporation's fault. They try to fit into the times of what's going on around them as a company, and they want to capitalize on it. So if these 5 people out of like 1 million want to play this, for the first time Sims, all right, that's fine. There's more power to them, right? The corporation, but in the long term, they're not gonna make no damn money. So
yeah.
So if you're 5 people extra out of 1 million other players who played Sims for how many years, now you're gonna affect the population of Sims games in the future. So when it comes with Sims 5 or Sims Ultimate, or
got my water in case I need it.
Right all right, guys. We're back.
Did we say everything we had to say about The Sims? I'm ready to move on.
I just want to say that it looks like a good game to play as a group of friends who are like vegans and all different cultures. Like if I was with other people who are like vegan, others are conservative, others are are passionate about artwork and stuff like that, and we all have different backgrounds, different areas of life where we had different from one another, and we came to a group in one room playing games. I'll play Sims with them. I did it before, not the actual game Sims, but something like that, because it seems more fun that way. But playing it by myself, these gender pronouns bullshit, the minority is gonna turn to majority sooner or later, because they're promoting a lot of LGBT stuff right now for the Pride Month, and try to encourage the kids who are as young as kindergarten now to teach about LGBT to them. Like, this is not a good sign. So time will tell.
And this is and you know what? I didn't even think about that. This is probably another way to reach the kids.
Well, the Sims supposed to be like one of those like late teens to adult.
It's rated E for everyone.
You're right, yeah, but then I'm starting to see too. I'm hearing too, and seeing as well, that Sims games are more adultish. They want to appeal towards adults, like having babies and stuff like that. So.
Oh, okay. I'm doing something now, so we'll answer it tomorrow. Well, the thing is, I'm recording something now. I would, besides, it's already like 10 p.m. at night. All right.
Ready, Triple J?
Yeah.
All right. I'm done.
Ready to move on?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Next. Oh, forgot to X that out. Next one. Here we go. Saints Row. Everything we know about Volition's reboot of the action-adventure series. After 9 years, a new mainline entry is finally being released for the Saints Row series. Saints Row skipped the entire console generation, but the franchise is back with a full reboot known simply as Saints Row. That means a new version of the 3rd Street Saints, a new customizable boss, new rival gangs, and of course loads of mayhem. Developer Volition decided to hit reset on the franchise after Saints Row 4's extremely chaotic ending, and so we can expect a more grounded Saints Row for the current gen. The new game ventures away from the street gang romp we've come to know and love over the course of Saints Row 2, Saints Row 3, and Saints Row 4, as well as the alternate reality created in Agents of Mayhem, on account of the events of Get Out of Hell. While Volition has teased that there will be plenty of callbacks to previous games, this new entry moves the series in a new direction with a brand new Saints gang. Saints Row is scheduled to launch on August 23, 2022. The game was originally set to release on February 25th before being delayed so that the team could do a little more fine-tuning. Our priority is to create the best Saints Row game yet, and if we released on the original date, it wouldn't be up to the standards we've set ourselves and that you'd be expecting and deserve, Volition Chief Creative Officer Jim Boone wrote in a Saints Row blog post. The team just needs more time to do our vision justice. We're doing some fine-tuning, and there won't be much change in the game outside of overall quality and polish. What we know. In terms of narrative and tone, Saints Row seems to most resemble Saints Row III, balancing the mostly grounded gang activities of the series' earlier games with the ever more zany antics of the latter entries. Set in the fictional city of San Yeso, a location inspired by the Southwest United States, Saints Row sees you take control of a brand new boss striving to make a name for themselves. Like previous games in the series, Saints Row gameplay loop revolves around seizing territory from rival gangs. In Saints Row, that's the muscle vehicle and exercise-obsessed Los Panteros, the anarchist nightclub owners known as the Idols, and the private military corporation Marshall Defense Industries. This game's version of the boss is a former Marshall Defense Industries employee who left the private military company and started rooming with a motley crew of other former gang members. Nina from Los Panteros and former Idols member Kevin, along with an outside entrepreneur named Eli. Representing all 3 area gangs with some business acumen, the friends decide to start their own 4th gang in Santo Yeso, the Saints. The boss starts their gang by recruiting members from each of these 3 rivals, forming alliances with those who have become disillusioned with the current state of Santo Yeso. Though all trailers for Saints Row have only featured a boss who's a young black woman, Volition has said that this reboot will incorporate a character creator, allowing you to change your gender and customize your appearance as you see fit. While Saints Row includes plenty of unorthodox means of transportation, like a flight suit and hoverboards, nothing is on par with the superpowers of Saints Row 4. Instead, the game encourages players to implement driving as a staple part of the experience. As such, Volition has largely rebooted how driving works, giving you more options to combat foes while behind the wheel. We've also since gotten our first in-depth look at Saints Row and came away feeling unimpressed. Though the new Saints Row looks to check all the boxes for a traditional Saints Row game, Jordan Ramey said it looks mediocre and uninspired. Saints Row will be released for both current and past-gen consoles as well as PC. You'll be able to pick it up on Xbox Series, Xbox One, PS5, PS4, and PC via the Epic Game Store. PC system specs. Volition has not yet released the official PC specs for Saints Row. Trailers. Volition first revealed Saints Row with a trailer at Gamescom ONL 2021. Entirely cinematic, the trailer showcases the new boss and their allies pulling off a high-action heist in order to grow their criminal empire. I'll see if I can get to play. No, I can't. Saints Row first gameplay trailer would debut shortly after that, with boss voice actor Bryce Charles and the Volition team detailing how the upcoming game reboots the action-adventure series with a brand new setting, characters, and mechanics. Volition revealed another Saints Row trailer at the Game Awards 2021. The trailer showcases the rival gangs that you'll go up against in the game, as well as a lot more wingsuit gameplay. Like previous games in the series, Saints Row will feature drop-in, drop-out cooperative online multiplayer, allowing for you and one other friend to team up and play together. Completing missions while in co-op will transfer over to your own save, so you won't waste time or lose your boss's character progression by playing in someone else's game. Volition plans on releasing 3 post-launch expansions for Saints Row, all of which will be included in the game's expansion pass. Saints Row is available for pre-order both through the game's official website and select online retailers. There are 3 physical editions of the game: Standard for $60, Criminal Customs for also $60, and Notorious for $90. There are also 3 digital versions of the game: Standard for $60, Gold for $90, and Platinum for $100. All 6 editions have the Idols Anarchy Pack as a pre-order bonus, but you also get the Saints Criminals Custom Pack for pre-ordering the Criminal Customs, Notorious Gold, or Platinum editions. The physical Standard edition of Saints Row only includes the base game. The Criminal Customs edition adds the Saints Criminal Customs Pack, so it's basically just an edition designed to give you an extra bonus for pre-ordering the game. Since it costs the same as the Standard edition, you might as well nab the Criminal Customs edition if you're planning on pre-ordering the game. Following, the Notorious edition adds the expansion pass and comes with physical collectibles, including a steelbook case. Like the physical version, the digital version of the Standard edition only includes the base game. The Gold edition adds the Los Panteros American Muscle Band and the expansion pass. The Platinum edition includes all that, plus a digital copy of Saints Row the Third Remastered. So, what do you think of this news of Saints Row reboot?
I seen the reveal trailer last year, and it looked like something out of the Disney TV show. and I'm not playing it too. Not only it looked like it at first for kids and shit. Someone made a meme of. Someone made this meme where they put the you know how like those Disney TV shows, Henry, Danger Henry, whatever his name is, and that's so Zoe, that's so Londa, that's so Raven, that's so Raven, like those type of Disney actors and shit. They put those two together with these actors, portrayed on a cover, right, as the Saints Row game. That's what it turns into, a Disney movie. It was so fun. I think I saved it. I could have sworn I still have it somewhere on my computer. I doubt it though, because I changed computers recently, so I lost some data. But if I could find it somehow, some way, I could definitely will share it publicly on my Twitter. So, well, other than that, Saints Row, it looks like they're trying to appeal more towards kids. It's supposed to be a teenage to adult game, because when games like GTA came out, it was for mature audiences. Now they're trying to appeal towards teenagers, and it's probably going to be rated for teen as well, most likely. So if it's rated for teen, I'm not buying it. If it's rated M for mature, okay, maybe I will, use my Game Pass if they allow for Game Pass, that is, and play it that way.
Yeah. Same. I'm a big fan of the Saints Row games. I've beaten the story in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, I'm just finishing up the extra missions. 2, I still got some main story missions. But yeah, this I've seen. From what I've seen the trailer. I've seen the artwork, how this game looks, and it's just like they think bright, vibrant colors is going to be, is going to bring people in. And I wasn't impressed with what I've seen. And maybe this game will be good, but this is definitely one I'm going to wait to see reviews of.
Oh yeah. It probably looks like something that kids will play a lot of, but if they're trying to appeal towards the older adults, like the 25, 21-year-olds especially, it's not going to look. They might play it for a while, but they're not going to sit there for hours upon hours playing that game because it's too childish. It's like Fortnite, for example. It's too cartoony looking. And PUBG is for adults, and it's just because of its graphic content, what I call it graphic content. And Apex Legends is in the middle, where it shows blood, but not gore and shit. So it's kind of like good for adults and young kids. Actually, the kids who are like 10, 12, 13 years old. That type of it's rated T for teen last time I checked. Apex Legends. So if they're doing it for Saints Row, it's going to be iffy to see how well it's going to do. So.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not interested. I'm not chomping at the bit for this. And we'll just see how this game turns out when it's released.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to move on?
Yep.
All right. Next, Fable 4. Everything we know. A new game in the long dormant and irreverent RPG franchise is on the way from Forza Horizon dev Playground Games. The Fable series has been dormant since 2010, assuming you don't count Fable The Journey, because no one does. But the series is coming back with a new Fable coming from Playground Games, the studio behind the popular Forza Horizon series. Fable is a very different kind of game, but Playground is a talented studio that should bring something new to the franchise. The new Fable was first announced with a mood teaser in May 2020. Unfortunately, we don't know much about it yet. Below, we've run down all the details currently out there about Fable, which is often referred to as Fable 4, although we don't know if that number is reflective of where the game will fit in the franchise. Our first look at Fable didn't give any story or gameplay details, but it did certainly set a mood. The trailer showed off a fairy flitting her way through an idyllic fantasy forest before suddenly getting eaten by a huge toad. That certainly sets the mood for the irreverent tone the Fable series is known for, and notably, the trailer simply refers to it as Fable, indicating this could be a reboot. We know next to nothing about when Fable will actually be available to play, or much of anything else for that matter. Microsoft's website for the game lists no date, but does run down what machines you can expect to play Fable on when it does eventually arrive. Fable will be available on the Xbox Series X and Series S, as well as on PC. Given that all first-party Microsoft titles also appear on Game Pass at launch, we can expect Fable to be part of that subscription service as well. It's notable that there's no mention of a Fable release on Xbox One. According to Xbox Games Marketing General Manager Aaron Greenberg, that doesn't discount the possibility of an Xbox One version of the game necessarily, but it does seem possible that Fable will be a game that requires you to either buy an Xbox Series console or play on PC, at least if you want to play it natively. Microsoft has rolled out cloud support for Xbox One, so it's possible the game could be playable on last-gen hardware through that. The originator of the Fable series, Peter Molyneux's Lionhead Studios, was shuttered in 2016 along the cancellation of Fable Legends, a co-op action RPG entry into the series. There hasn't been a mainline entry in the Fable franchise since Fable 3 back in 2010. The new Fable title is helmed by Playground Games. The studio is known for the Forza Horizon games, and while those are racing titles, they're known for their vast open worlds, which is a check in the pro column for a new Fable game. Playground created a second studio separate from the Horizon team back in 2017 to handle what was an unnamed game at the time. Now we know that game is Fable. Anna McGill, the lead writer on Remedy Entertainment Control and narrative director of Arcane Studios' Dishonored: Death of the Outsider, has revealed that she is heading up the Fable writing team. We have some information about that team as well, and features some notable people from Batman Arkham series developer Rocksteady. Batman Arkham Knight's lead scriptwriter Martin Lancaster will serve as the game's narrative director, as joined by Rocksteady veterans Craig Owens, another former Batman scriptwriter, and cinematic director Martin Tan. Other members of the Fable team include Will Kennedy, who worked on Grand Theft Auto V as chief designer, Juan Fernandez de Simon, who worked as principal game designer for Hellblade, and Adam Olsen, who was the lead environmental artist for The Division 2. Naturally, many members of the team also previously worked on a Forza Horizon game. Another notable development about the new Fable is that we've learned it will use the Forza game engine. Forza series creators and developers Turn 10 Studios posted an ad seeking a new software engineer to work with the Forza tech engine, with the successful applicant being tasked with using the software to support an open-world action RPG, Fable. The new employee will also be responsible for adding new features like ray tracing to the game for some added visual horsepower, which will have a major impact on 3 AAA titles in development across 2 other Xbox franchises. The Forza Tech engine has been used in the past to create some of the best-looking games for Xbox, helping to create worlds and vehicles that look both realistic and vibrant. Microsoft wanting to use some of its best technology to revive the Fable franchise makes sense as development on this project continues. Tom Galton, a lead engineer at Playground Games, celebrated his 4th year at the studio on Twitter in November 2021, expressing his joy at getting to work on Fable throughout that time. So yes, the new Fable has been in some form of development for at least 4 years, it appears. Galton's tweet provided the first real indication as how long the game has been in the works at the Microsoft-owned studio. Playground Games just recently released Forza Horizon 5 to great success, setting player records for Xbox. As mentioned, the studio has at least 2 internal development teams, so it's possible the new Fable will be developed alongside a potential Forza Horizon 6. So, what do you think about this new Fable game that could possibly be Fable 4?
Well, I did play Fable Anniversary and Fable 3. I will admit this, I didn't play much of it. It was not on. It's not. I'm not saying it's not on point, of course, because eventually the more you play, the more you understand the story. But it doesn't seem as fluid with the story. It doesn't seem as like it's just some useless stuff like I did in Anniversary, where I played the first hour of the game, right, and the Fable Anniversary that is, and you try to give this girl some sort of doll, whatever, and you gotta go to some locksmith or blacksmith, whichever it comes first. To give him something. I don't know. It was like some tedious stuff. Like it wasn't nothing rich of story or rich of understanding of what's going on in that village in Fable Anniversary. And Fable 3, well, I don't know anything about that story at all. It is basically you choose between male and female characters. So what they can do for Fable 4, if this is going to be the new Fable game, they should incorporate Fable 3's character making of character, that you create your own character, and as well as story. But the problem with that is that, they probably do something like what Mass Effect did for Mass Effect 3, where they tried to play between male and female, and they incorporate that with the story of the characters and with the sex scenes and interactions, in general speaking, especially if you want to include, a female a protagonist in Fable 4. So, the main antagonist, I should say, of Fable 4. So, yeah.
Okay. I played Fable Anniversary once. I didn't really like it. I played the original Fable on the stream. I really didn't care for it. Fable 3 has always been the good game in the Fable series. The only one I've actually liked. I never beat it. I wouldn't mind restarting it since I can play it on my Xbox One, because I have the 360 game. But I mean, with the people they're bringing in, like people who worked on Batman, Arkham Knight, Grand Theft Auto 5, The Division 2, I think Fable 4 is in good hands, or whatever this new Fable game turns out to be. Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
Fable, I'll give it a few more chances to play more of Fable Anniversary. Fable 3, I cannot stand it. But Fable,
really?
Yeah, Fable Anniversary is more of like an actual story, in a sense. So I'll try to play more of it. I know it's been a couple years I haven't played the game, but I still have it listed on my Xbox store, on my Xbox library. So I still will play that whatever I can with you guys one day, sometime this year. So.
I really like the story in Fable 3, where your brothers become like a tyrannical ruler, and you can either be the good guy ruler, or you can be even worse than your brother, depending on...
That's the story? Oh, I did not realize that.
Yeah, Fable 3.
I only played 30 minutes of it. That's all.
Well, Fable 3, I'll give you like maybe like the first hour in a quick summary. Your brother says, I forget what your character did to piss him off, but your brother said either your girlfriend's gotta die or this couple's gotta die. And you gotta make the choice. If you don't make the choice, all 3 of them are gonna die. So you, your dog, and the butler escape in the middle of the night, because you get shown a future where basically the town's gonna revolt against your brother and the kingdom. And if you happen to still be part of the kingdom through your bloodline, the town's gonna be against you too. But the thing is, you got your butler, you got the guy who's trained you in sword fighting, and your dog. That's not enough to take on your brother and his army. So, like, the first army, you have to defeat them. Then this army had, like, a big guy that you had to beat. Once you beat him, he surrenders to you. Then you have a choice. You can either... he gets down on his knees, the big guy from the first army. Mm-hmm. You can either chop off his head, or you can put your hand out to help him back to his feet.
Oh wow!
He tells his army before he gets on his knees, their duty is to follow you no matter what you say. That's his last order. So he gets on his knees. If you chop off the guy's head, his army will follow you out of fear. If you put your hand out to help him to his feet, he and his army will follow you out of respect. So, and then you make deals through the game, and then at the end, it's up to you whether or not you want to come through on those deals. Mm-hmm. And you basically amass your own army to take on your brother.
I see. Wow.
I never gotten through Fable 3 either, but from what I played, I liked. I didn't like Fable Anniversary. I don't think I've actually ever played Fable 2 though.
Yeah, I haven't played Fable 2 yet. I got Fable 2 as well, but I never got a chance to get into it.
Yeah. So Fable 4. Getting back to that, like I said, they got people from Batman Arkham Origins working on it. They got people from the Division 2, people from another game I don't remember. It sounds like they got a lot of good people that can create a great game.
Okay. But here's the thing, though. Now with Fable, are they going to do that character creation thing? That's the thing.
In Fable 3, I think you had to be a male, but you could create how you looked, if I'm not mistaken.
It's male or female, last time I checked. I chose
female. Oh, really? Fable 3 is?
Yeah, but so I'll say in Fable 4, will it have that character selection or character making?
Okay.
Do you know about that? If they have that?
I don't know. No.
Okay, because if I recall correctly, also too, with Fable Anniversary, right? They're doing something good at first with that game, the first hour or first 30 minutes or so, whatever I played. But if they could just like make it more, not adult themed, but more like witty, sarcastic feeling. Not too much, but just enough to get by. And this is like based on medieval setting or magical medieval stuff like that. They should be more focused, like something like the Lord of the Rings movies. Like if they can do something similar like that, I will definitely buy Fable 4 after playing the other three games of Fable. So.
All right, ready to move on?
I think that's about it for me. That's all I can think of about Fable 4. I have thought about another thing about Fable 4, but I can't quite remember it. So maybe later on.
Okay. All right, so I'm moving on.
Yeah, move on.
Okay. Next, Sony's bringing even more PlayStation games to PC following massive success. Sony and PC sitting in a tree. PORTING. More than just God of War. That's how. These are all pictures. Here's the article. Okay, here we go. In July 2020, Sony will release the genre-bending game Death Stranding on PC, which runs tremendously well. Is this? It's just weird because they have so many pictures and none. Okay, here we go. Sony plans to expand significantly into PC gaming, according to an investor briefing published this week. By 2025, Sony says roughly a third of the games in PlayStation's portfolio will come out on PC. So PlayStation's first-party portfolio comprises a number of top-flight series from prestigious developers, including Insomniac's Ratchet & Clank, Santa Monica Studios' God of War, and Naughty Dogs Uncharted, and The Last of Us. Traditionally, PlayStation games have remained exclusive to PlayStation, but over the past few years, Sony has started to port them over to PC. In July 2020, Sony released a genre-bending Death Stranding on PC, where it runs tremendously well. Horizon Zero Dawn, Guerrilla's open-world game about staring directly at a pretty sunset and immediately wishing you had sunglasses on, hit PC the following month, confirming a Kotaku report from earlier that year it launched with some notable performance issues. Zombie Horde Simulator Days Gone came to PC in May 2021. Sony put God of War on PC in January 2022. Everyone loves it. Later this year, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves, a remastered version of two Uncharted games that are already pretty freaking mastered, if you ask me, will come to PC. It's currently only out on PlayStation 5. From a player's perspective, Sony's continued foray into PC undeniably rules. Also, and considering that's still tough to get your hands on a PS5, even as we approach the point in this console generation where developers leave the PS4 behind, PC versions will help more games reach more people. But the choice to release games on PC also benefits Sony from a financial perspective. Horizon's port helped propel the game's total sales across an impressive benchmark. To date, it sold more than 20 million copies. And it's not just Horizon that brings in a ton of money. In the investor brief, Sony estimates that its PC portfolio is on track to earn $300 million in revenue during the company's 2022 fiscal year, more than triple the revenue from the same segment for its 2021 fiscal year, and close to 10 times the segment revenue from its 2020 fiscal year. Clearly, PC players like entertaining games with luxurious production values. What a surprise. Sony hasn't revealed any details about which games are next to do to make the leap to PC. Representatives for Sony did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Data miners suggest that the PS5 exclusive roguelike Returnal is next at bat for a PC port. Returnal was among the games named in the massive NVIDIA data leak, which was correct about the existence of Kingdom Hearts 4. Earlier this year, Sony published Horizon Forbidden West, a sequel to Zero Dawn on PS4 and PS5. It's safe to assume that game will come to PC, eventually. Probably. So, what do you think of Sony releasing more of their games on PC?
Well, what I stood out was the Uncharted pack. Now, if you can explain more about this this game pack.
All they said that it's a remaster of two different Uncharted games.
Do they know which ones they're going to do?
No, they didn't. They didn't say that.
Okay, so now they're playing iffy with me, pretty much, because if they do all the first four Uncharted games, Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, Uncharted 2, Sea of Thieves, whatever it's called, I don't know, whatever the. I know that Uncharted 4, The Thief's End, is the last Uncharted 4 of Nathan Drake. Then there was the fifth Uncharted game referred to a character from the first four games. So I think they're related. They're related. Nathan Drake and this female protagonist in the fifth Uncharted game that came out for the PS4. So I already got Uncharted, the first three Uncharted remasters for the PS4 system, as well as I got Uncharted 4 last time I checked. And I'm waiting until I get the PS5 and the PS4, so that's what I'm doing. But now they started doing that double pack stuff with the two game out of all Uncharted games. And I'm like, if that's the case, then why not just include the first four as remasters? And that would be great.
Well, I did a little more digging. I think I found it. I clicked Legacy of Thieves, and it says it consists of Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, and Uncharted: The Lost Legacy.
What's The Lost Legacy about?
I'll click on that, and
the female protagonist.
Let me see. Uncharted I'm looking through the review right now.
Okay, if you don't have it right away, I can understand.
Yeah, no, it's basically, but it came out a year after Uncharted 4.
Okay, so it must be that the one with the two female protagonists, because they work together to fight, not fight crime, of course, but to explore other treasures. They are a continuation from where Nathan Drake retired from doing treasure
Okay.
exploration or tomb raiding, if you want to call it like that. So
Okay.
yeah, but I
So
heard good things about Uncharted, the first four games, and Uncharted 4 must be the best Uncharted game so far, especially based on a trailer they made for the or a TV commercial made for the United States, where you saw Nathan chase after a coin fall off the cliff, or whatever. But no, but he was reaching for his one of his allies' hand. In the process, so it's kind of like that feeling where it's like you thought that this typical leader or this special guy that's well mentioned by the public, it's about stealing shit and fucking people over. No, he's actually looking out for his fellow man or his allies and exploring treasures and making a name of himself legitimately, in a sense. But then he said Nathan Drake, the 2-bit thief, and now we see us it's not, something like that where they did in that commercial. That was very good. I gotta play Uncharted 4 whenever I get a chance to play the three other Uncharted. So it looks good. So yeah, if they continue on with the Uncharted series and remastering them for the PS5, that would be great. Don't just do two out of the 4 or 5 Uncharted games.
yeah, because I didn't even know about the Lost Legacy.
Yeah, that's the one that, if I recall correctly, that's it shows a cover, the Lost Legacy cover of the game, like the PS4 cover. It showed two ladies with guns and then she treasures behind them and stuff. Last time I checked. So if that's the game I'm talking about, then that's an add-on to play as well. So
Yeah.
not too important, but it's important enough.
I mean, I played the first level in the first two Uncharted games. I enjoyed it. Always meant to get back to it. I played like the first 3 or 4 levels in the third Uncharted game, and I do enjoy these games. There are actually there are games I want to get actually because my PS3 still works, so I can play all the way through. Even if I can't enjoy 4 right now. But yeah, I think this is a good thing that they're being released on PC. As we always say, just because the pandemic is over for most people, doesn't mean that everything's back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, with the baboon in chief in the White House, things are actually somewhat worse than the pandemic, depending on which aspect you're going by, whether it's the economy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're not out of the woods yet as far as hard times go. So, yeah, if, people always usually have PCs, and if they can play, if that's another avenue to play PlayStation games, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it, if it's a first-party Sony game, Sony's still going to make money anyway, so really there's no reason not to do it. Ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay. Next. Hold on. Okay. Next. Nintendo Switch Online May update adds 3 more NES and SNES games. A very early pinball, a 90s beat-em-up, and a side-scrolling starring a caveman are all available on the service starting on May 27th. The Nintendo Switch Online subscription service has issued a new update adding 3 new games to its NES and Super NES libraries. Those include the early NES pinball game simply titled Pinball, the beat-em-up Rival Turf, and the mascot platformer Congo's Caper. Pinball hails from the earliest days of the NES when video game adaptations of common hobbies would just be named after the hobby itself without embellishment, like NES, golf, or tennis. Rival Turf was a 1992 brawler that bears a striking resemblance to the classic Final Fight, and Congo's Caper is a side-scroller from Data East, starring a caveman wielding a club. As always, you don't need to download these games individually. Instead, they're packaged into updates for the individual NES and Super NES apps, which house each of the games in a collection on Nintendo Switch. Switch owners who opt for the price-year expansion pass also get a collection of Genesis and N64 games, though no new games were added to those collections in this update. Aside from online play and a selection of classic games, Nintendo Switch Online occasionally rolls out other benefits. Most recently, that includes a demo for Mario Strikers Battle League covering the game's tutorial area. That demo is available even if you simply sign up for a free trial of Nintendo Switch Online and applies to both standard and expansion pass users. Have you played any of these games? Pinball, Rival Turf, or what's that caveman game? Or Congo's Caper?
I don't know by title or name. If I see gameplay of the caveman thing, maybe I be familiar with it when I was younger. But I was a baby when no, I wasn't even born when the Nintendo NES game came out. By the time I played the Nintendo game, in my memory of what I remember was back in 1994 with my dad before he died, and we played a lot together. If I recall correctly, one time we played Mario together for a few minutes, and it was good. It was a good experience. But anything else that around that time, if my dad was still alive later on in my life, I think he would tell me more about libraries on what the games you mentioned for the NES. So I will definitely have a leeway in today's time. But it's no big deal. So right now it's like I think of the past. In my perspective, that is the NES game and the system I have is a thing of the past. Having a storage somewhere of not too far from me, so it's kind of like a good thing. And it's memories, good memories. So I have with NES. I still have the gun too with it though for the duck hunt.
Yep.
So I guess you could say I'm not going to be able to focus too much on Nintendo's or the Nintendo Switch's program of redefining or rediscovering these games to the public again. But like I said, I want to get a Switch one day. I'm not sure when, and I'm not sure how I'm going to get it. But if I was a betting man, and if it's safer, if it's cheaper to buy from Nintendo Switch online shop, I'll go to Nintendo's shop online rather than through buying it for $100 per copy of it on Amazon or eBay. So,
Okay. Well, I just have to say, pinball. The problem, people aren't happy with it, and I understand because the pinball NES game it's just a basic pinball game. What's the problem with that? We had better options in the 90s, especially if you had a PC. There was a pinball game like Space Cadet that you could play also on game consoles, and then there was other things like Pinball Treasure Island or something that you could play on PC. And once those games came around in the 90s, pinball on the NES was already obsolete. Rival Turf, while I didn't enjoy it when I played it, because the one thing I have to say about Rival Turf on Super Nintendo, one thing I have to give it credit for, is that it had two-player co-op. Final Fight did not. Final Fight still became more, I guess, popular and well-known, but it's but I still can't take away something that Rival Turf offered that Final Fight did not at the time.
Right.
Congo's Caper, it looked like a typical platformer. Nothing, if you like side-scrolling platformers, you'd probably like Congo's Caper. I don't know too much about it. But these were the games that were added to the NES and SNES Switch collection, so even if you didn't have the expansion pass, you can still play these three games. I'm just wondering, why pinball?
Oh, yeah.
And when there's been so many more, I understand, maybe Nintendo doesn't have those other pinball games, but black box pinball.
Yeah. Sounds racial at first, but no big deal.
Well, I'm saying, most of the NES games that came out first were black box games.
Yeah. I don't care if you're black or white.
So, ready to move on, or?
pretty much, I want to say, even though I don't remember these games by heart or by memory, I know for a fact I must have heard about them overall in my whole life or sometime in my life, whether it's right before my dad died or during the time I was growing up, and maybe during college years, because I do have people who are around my age back then that played games from the Super Nintendo series. Problem though is that in today's world you're lucky if your Nintendo system from like 40 years ago, which that's how old my Nintendo system is now going to be. It's going to be 40 years old, and it's going to be like it's still going to work after so many years. And I still have it stored the open container, collecting dust from the top, and then trickle down a little bit into the bottom somewhat. So it's kind of like I'm playing preservative. How preserved this is to play the game.
Yeah.
Because my Nintendo 64, I still have my old Nintendo 64, and I got two new copies of not new copies, but two copies of No Mercy, and because my other No Mercy game lost its data somehow, some way. I don't know what happened.
Well, No Mercy had a glitch in the first batch of games. That basically was just a glitch in the game.
Especially with the expansion pack. I'm sure that screwed up stuff too. With the
actually, no, it was just the game itself, because they released the second batch of No Mercy games. Mm-hmm. Like, look at the bottom where the serial number is on the front cover. If you have a second batch of games, there'll be a -1 at the end.
Right.
If you have that, that's the second batch where the data erasing glitch was fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to move on?
Yep.
Alright. The June PlayStation Plus lineup has reportedly leaked. Boy, get ready to download the latest game I was included in is probably what Kratos would say to Atreus if he read this story. That's because reliable PlayStation Plus leaker source Deal Labs has reported leaked the June PlayStation Plus games, and the lineup includes God of War, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, and Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker. This news comes by way of Deal Labs, naturally as reported by Eurogamer, and if it's like previous months, the former is correct. If this leak does end up being correct, PlayStation Plus subscribers will have those 3 games to look forward to from June 7th to July 5th. This wouldn't be the most surprising lineup, especially when you consider God of War Ragnarok is slated to release sometime in 2022. Perhaps it's coming sooner than later, and Sony is releasing God of War as a way to begin the marketing for its sequel. This leak, if true, would technically be in the first month of PlayStation's Plus post-Sony's revamp, which includes 3 new tiers of the subscription service that essentially combine Plus with the company's cloud streaming service, PlayStation Now. Only time will tell if this leak is like those in months past. We're likely just a day or two away from finding out what games are officially free to download for PlayStation Plus subscribers in June. So would any of these games interest you? That's God of War, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, and Naruto to Boruto.
Interesting.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on?
Would you be in? Would any of these games get you to join PlayStation Plus service? God of War, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, and Naruto to Boruto.
Well, I have to say the Naruto game sounds iffy to me because I played the Jump Force, it's called, for both Xbox and PlayStation, and they finally put on Game Pass to encourage more people to play it, and it's still not as good because something is not right about Jump Force. It includes Naruto, include Ichigo from Bleach, and also Goku from Dragon Ball, and other titles as well and features. And perhaps even include Luffy from the series One Piece. But the way they did it, it makes me feel like that. What's the point after a while? It's like it's all over the place with Jump Force. Like, yes, it looks like it's a good story at first, but then when they start doing all that chores type of gameplay, quote unquote, I like to call it, it's like they tell you, like, oh, be a part of this clan, that clan, or the other clan. And you got 3 clans to choose from, and it's like, okay, I was expecting more of a crossover story. like with the Jetsons and the Flintstones. Like they had a movie with them put them together. Like they switched spots. Like Jetsons do Stone Age, Flintstones do the future, and it was a pretty good movie from what I heard from the reviews. But that's the movie, of course, obviously. But still, like if they can do something like this with Naruto, even though Naruto is a standalone, actually is actual Naruto game, so that's a good thing.
Right.
But for what they did with Jump Force back 2 or 3, 4 years ago, it was like I don't know if I want to play more of these action anime related games because they don't live up. Dragon Ball Fighters, I played that for a few minutes. The downside is that it's not too repetitive in a sense, but it's just there's something that I don't like about Dragon Ball Fighters and Jump Force. And Dragon Ball Fighters is a state of its own Dragon Ball game. It's not as good as like say Budokai, Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Those games I heard was good. Those sub-series of games.
Yeah, the Budokai Tenkaichi games. I only played 3, but I enjoyed that one.
Unfortunately, I will admit this publicly that I never really played any of the Dragon Ball games other than Dragon Ball Fighters. That's about it. And I do want to play Kakarot, the Dragon Ball Kakarot, but I don't have the money for it right this second. I don't think it's not on sale yet. So it was on sale for like $30-$40, but a few months after it was released. But that's about it. So.
Okay, well, what about God of War? And we've talked a lot about Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Would either of these games get you to try out PlayStation service if you had a PlayStation 5?
Yeah, of course. Eventually, I will get the PS5. Hopefully, one day I will. I'm not sure when. So, I'm still overwhelmed by other games for PS2 that I bought many years ago. A couple of PS2 games I haven't took off the packaging. It was brand new still. And
wow.
Yeah, it's been 3-4 years. I was still in this packaging, and because I was so busy with the 360 and Xbox One games for years, and especially for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been busy playing catch up with the Xbox One titles, or the ones that are built on both consoles at least. But yeah, it's I'll definitely keep in mind these games.
All right. If they bring God of War, I know a lot of people are going to love that. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, I'm surprised with that game being so new that they would bring this to a PlayStation subscription service. Mm-hmm. The Dragon Ball, the Naruto game, though, I've never played one after... I haven't played one in years, and I really just don't care about the Naruto games. That's how I feel about the PlayStation games. God of War is going to attract a lot of people. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, a weird choice just because it's so new. And Naruto to Boruto, just honestly don't care.
Yeah, it's one of those games where it's like, you want to care about playing games like Jump Force and Dragon Ball Fighters, but then it's like there's something in your conscience when seeing these games, when you firsthand play these games with your experience, or with my experience specifically. It's like, this is not gonna last long. Like this is nothing like, because the story is not enriching, it's not consistent, it's not oomph to keep playing. The more you play, the more story you get. The more story you get, the better the gameplay. It's supposed to be switched back and forth, not this mesh, clusterfuckery, you want to call it like that. So,
Are you ready to move on?
Yep.
All right. Next. Hold on. Let me, so people can see it if they want to follow along. Games Pass editions amassed an army of ninjas and assassins in June. Xbox has begun to announce its upcoming slate of Game Pass titles for next month, with 6 games joining the service in the opening days of June. Sharpen your blades and get ready for plenty of action with the 3 big games coming to the subscription service over the next week. Ubisoft is providing 2 games, with For Honor Matchmaking Fire Edition hitting tomorrow, which was June 1st.
Yeah.
June 1st is the day it dropped. and Assassin's Creed Origins arriving on June 7th, just in time for Series X owners to enjoy the new 60 FPS update. Koei Tecmo is also bringing Ru Hayabusa's remastered trilogy of 3D adventures to Game Pass with the June 2nd edition of Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. Here's the full list of Game Pass editions coming in the first part of June. On the 1st, For Honor Marching Fire Edition comes to console, PC, and cloud. On the 2nd, Ninja Gaiden Master Collection for console and PC. On the 7th, Assassin's Creed Origins for console, PC, and cloud. Chorus on June 7th comes to console, PC, and cloud. So does Disc Room. And yes? Okay. And Space Lines from the Far Art coming to console and PC on the 7th. With new games joining the service, others are often leaving as well. Get your game time in with the following titles that will be gone from Game Pass on June 15th. All 5 of these games are leaving on the 15th. Darkest Dungeon for console, PC, and cloud. Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance for console, PC, and cloud. Greedfall is leaving all 3. So is Limbo and Worms Rumble. This newest Game Pass update only stretches into the first week of June, but keep in mind that Xbox and Bethesda are holding their joint showcase of upcoming games on June 12th. Keep your eyes peeled on that presentation, and Game Informer for more updates on what's coming to Game Pass in the future. Are you excited for any of these games coming to Game Pass?
Well, of those 3 games...
6 games.
6 games, actually. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
For Honor Marching Fire Edition, Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, Assassin's Creed Origins, Chorus, Disc Room, and Space Lines from the Far Out.
Well, if I recall correctly, wasn't For Honor part of the Game Pass for many months now? Last time I checked.
This is a new edition.
Oh, it was like one of those Game of the Year or Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, they're calling it. They're calling it what came out on June 1st, the Marching Fire Edition.
Okay, so that must be like the updated version of the game, but this time in a full game add-on or part of the entire game itself. So that's good. All right. For Honor, I played it a couple of times. I kind of stuck on this mission or this challenge where I have to defeat the general as part of my training in training mode. It's challenging to fight that guy. You gotta keep dodging, you gotta keep blocking. Take your time, take a break. Distance yourself and take a break from fighting him. See what you can do later on. Now, as far as the vast army of ninjas. What is this? Fucking Ninja Gaiden times 1,000 ninjas? I mean, it's...
Well, Ninja Gaiden. I don't think it's the NES games. I think it's, but like we had Ninja Gaiden 3 Sigma coming out for 360, which was a big deal back in the early 2010s.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was big back then. Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, it's like if it's similar to Ninja Gaiden, I would play it. Now, I will admit though, I never played Ninja Gaiden of its actual gameplay playing, especially Ninja Gaiden 3 that I own on the Games with Gold last time I checked. So, if I play Ninja Gaiden sometime, this month, I'll definitely will share with you guys my gameplay experience of Ninja Gaiden, and then later, hopefully, with this amassed Ninja Army type of game. So
okay, the Ninja Gaiden collection, I gotta be honest, I would rather it be the Nintendo collection, the collection that came out on Nintendo. I did stream Ninja Gaiden 3 until I got stuck on a certain boss. But yeah, for someone who might be getting Game Pass sooner rather than later, we'll cover that near the end of the stream. Assassin's Creed Origins, I'd love to revisit. I played it during a free play weekend. I had to stop when the free play weekend was over, but I'd love another chance to play Assassin's Creed Origins and finish the game. So, anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
Okay. Next, here we go. eFootball will not get Master League mode until 2023, will be paid DLC. Konami's eFootball won't be getting PES's beloved Master League mode until 2023, and fans will have to pay for it. eFootball's official Twitter account revealed its plans for the game going forward, including a breakdown of what's free and what isn't, and detailing what's coming this summer, winter, and then next year. The only content listed for 2023 so far is Master League, a mode that fans were already surprised to see missing from the game's official launch, but it's not the only content that will cost players money. Paid content. The number of teams that can be used in leagues and club teams will be expanded and distributed as additional paid content by the end of 2022. Master League will be available as additional paid content during 2023. The number of teams that can be used in leagues and clubs teams will be expanded and distributed as additional paid content by end of 2022, tweet said. I just read the tweet. Also on the schedule is the lobby match mode that lets players create rooms online and play matches with their dream teams, which is expected this summer as a free update. Cross-platform support across consoles and PC will be available later in winter, as well as some editing functions, though the tweet didn't explain what these would be. eFootball's Twitter said these updates were in response to fan feedback, meaning they're likely not the only new features coming to the game between now and next year. Konami has already announced that version 1.1.0, which is available on June 2nd, will improve the win-loss decision-making in online matches, enhance server capacity, and set the foundations for compatibility between the console and new mobile versions of eFootball. The April 1.0.0 update to eFootball that marked its official launch was the development team's attempt to regain the trust of players after a pretty disastrous pre-release version launched in October that IGN said was awful. The official release didn't improve a lot, however, as a now 4 out of 10 review, IGN said, yes, at least eFootball 22 does now have a fully fledged mode to take it past the point of being a demo, but it's still lacking so much more than you expect from a 1.0 version of a game. So, what do you think of eFootball 2022 adding in modes that people are going to have to pay for?
I have to say, eFootball must be a free-to-play game as it was originally, and should leave it at that. I said they fucked it up. They messed up the glitch. There's so many glitches and outright, bugs in the game. But they messed up. Now they gotta pay the price. They're not gonna make up. They're not gonna get no good sales for this game. I never played it yet. I downloaded eFootball 2022, if I recall correctly. That's the name of the title of the game. On Steam. It was free on Steam to play. Yeah, they're gonna make you pay another full game of the same game. It's like it's like the original game itself. Yes, it had potential, but they screwed it up. Because your customer base, your player base, is not gonna come back for that experience again, even if it improved or not. They messed up with Master Chief Collection back in 2014, and look where it's at now. It's getting worse and worse. Now, Halo 5 had a good launch. It had good sales too. So that's a good thing, right, for us older players. That's what it gears towards, Halo 5, older players, because we've been around knowing the story. But now with eFootball not as a comparison, it's kind of like, this is a somewhat of a new franchise, or a new series of eFootball games. Like, there's plenty of other games to choose from. I'm certain on Steam of playing football, baseball, basketball, wrestling even. So.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but this is made by Konami, and this is the current day Konami. Disappointment and penny pinching, and eFootball. It's basically what it's. All I'm gonna say is it's what Konami apparently does nowadays. Mm-hmm. Gone is the Konami from the '90s that we loved. It's not that anymore, or it's that business in name only. Their business practices are nowhere near the same.
Right.
Ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay. Next. June Xbox update finally lets you view secret achievements. You just heard the collective sigh of relief from achievement hunters all over the world because their hobby just got a lot more convenient. That's because after a new Xbox update, you'll be able to view secret achievements from wherever you're playing an Xbox game. Before this update, you simply could not. The console would let you know an achievement was secret, but you'd have to search online elsewhere to determine its objective. Starting this month, you can choose to reveal secret achievements according to a new Xbox Wire blog post as reported by IGN. If you don't mind spoilers, or want to hit on any of the achievements in the games you're playing, it's easy to find the secret achievement details on your Xbox, the blog post reads. From within a game, open the guide and go to Game Activity Achievements. When you see a secret achievement, you can now reveal details like the title, achievement description, and gamer score. And after you peek, you can go back and hide it or continue to display the details. You can reveal secret achievements any way you like to play and track your achievements from Xbox Series and Xbox One consoles, the Xbox app for Android and iOS, the Xbox app for Windows PC, and Game Bar on your PC. While waiting for this update to download, so are you excited about this update? Do you care about achievements, or have you moved past achievements?
June Xbox update finally lets you view secret achievements. It loses its purpose because it's not a secret anymore. It just doesn't make any sense. I've still played after 10 years. I'm still playing Cat for the 2011 video game. That has at least 3 secret achievements. So.
Well, now you'll be able, after the new update, you'll be able to find what those achievements are.
It loses purpose because it makes you want to go back to the game and still find that secret achievement. I'm still playing that game, Catherine, and Fear as well. Fear, FEAR, First Encounter Soul Recon, the first game, that had at least 1 or 2 achievements. You know, one day I'm not going to be able to find all those achievements, but I can try. Give me that purpose to play that game again. Now it's like, what's the point? Now I'm just doing it just to get the score, the gamer score. That's about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't really care about achievements. I still like unlocking new ones just when I happen to.
Okay.
But this is something I would have liked years ago when I was when the 360 was just out. Really, achievements, I really don't care about too many unlock. But the thing is, like in the WWE games, they have achievements that have to be done online. When they shut down the servers, you can't get those online achievements anymore.
Right.
So that's one thing that kills it for me. I really don't. Like 10 years ago, I really cared about trying to get achievements if I could.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'll come back to it. But I'm just more interested in playing the game through completion, and whatever I get, I get.
Oh yeah, because thanks to Major Nelson, he was the guy who started the achievement system back for the 360 game, for the 360 system. Had it not been for him, you know, games will just you will still play video games still, but we weren't expected to make amends with the game itself in an actual add-on purpose sense, you know. And what I like about the achievement system is that, you know, you can boister or to toot your own horn, saying how much of that game you played, how much dedication you did to it, are you loyal to the Xbox system and the Xbox game playing, you know, experience, you know, that type of stuff. But
right.
You know, I guess you could say, now that the secretiveness or the exploration, discovery of these accomplishments is no longer there after this update. So
well, after this update, it's going to give you the option,
right?
So I mean, you just don't go, you know, after the update downloads, just don't go click on the secret achievement.
Oh yeah,
and it's still a secret to you, and you still have to find it. If you, one thing I always wish they had done, since the 360 days, they never did it. I wish they made the gamer score more matter more. Yeah. Like I'm saying, you know, whether it was even 1,000 points or even 10,000 gamer score points, maybe, even if it had to be 10,000 gamer score points, maybe gives you a free dollar to spend in Microsoft's Xbox Online store. Think about it. That would have been a win-win. You're playing games to get these points of achievements, and the money you get will have to be spent in Microsoft's own store to get games that will give you more achievements.
Oh, yeah.
I always wish they had done that. They never did.
What it would be nice, though, is that they should use the gamer score system, like you said, to earn money, and as well as if you find a secret achievements, you get doubled the rewards. That's what they do with that reward system on Xbox system, where the more games you played, how many games you played, how many weekly accomplishments of these achievements you made through the reward system. The more you earn, the more value you get out of it. And well, if they can incorporate this as one game example, the Beyond Eyes, it's an indie game, and it's about this girl being blind and looking for her lost cat. And I got the game back in 2015, but I didn't finish it until like a year ago. So whatever happened during those years, I was like, okay, this is too slow pace as hell. Then like 5-7 years later, when completing the game, I get 200 gamer score for one achievement. It's crazy. If they can do something like that, where it's like games like that can be that daunting and drag moments. Like it feels like you're dragging along with the game. But if you keep at it, you get the reward for playing it and get 200 score. Imagine that with money. Imagine that with accomplishments like that. With those achievements. But Xbox and PS4, they're not on par with it.
I think it's a missed opportunity because even if 10,000 points was $1 in Microsoft's online digital store, they would have had to play a lot of games to get up to. I mean, my lifetime gamer score is only like 40,000.
35 for me almost, yeah.
So there's I would have gotten $4.30 in their digital store over all these years. Obviously, if this was worth money in their online store, I obviously would have played more. But then again, I understand it because there's some achievements that are like ridiculous. In TNA Impact, their one wrestling game, you got like 25 gamer score just for giving your created wrestler a flaming pattern on his costume.
Okay.
Like, remember Bam Bam Bigelow? He had the flames on his costume.
Mm-hmm.
If you did that for your created wrestler in Impact, you got 25 gamer score. You didn't even keep the costume. You could just add it, get the gamer score, take it off.
Okay. Interesting.
But they also had other achievements. Like I don't remember how many it was worth. But they said, like, in the Ultimate X free-for-all match, as Christopher Daniels, you have to beat AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. That's awesome. Giving me matches I have to complete to get gamer score.
Oh, yeah.
So, I've just been more interested in completing games in years, but now that we're talking about it, I think I would go back and try to get achievements for games I still have.
Yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay. Next, Madden NFL 23 covers pay tribute to the. Oh, let me rephrase that. Madden NFL 23 covers pay tribute to the career of John Madden. Hold on.
This should be interesting. Yeah, John Madden indeed.
Yeah.
Peace.
Okay, coming. I have to take a break. Family needs me. I'll be back as soon as I can be.
Yeah, guys, we'll be at intermission now. I'll play some music in the meantime. To those who are listening to the recording, please stand by as we transition. Please stand by. Thank you.
Alright, ready to continue?
Yeah, I just started to record again.
Okay. Where we left off. Madden NFL 23 covers pay tribute to the career of John Madden. John Madden has lent his name to the longest-running NFL franchise in the video game industry for nearly 3.5 decades, and EA Sports is honoring the memory of the late coach and broadcaster with 3 separate covers for Madden NFL 23. Following John Madden's passing in December of 2021, EA Sports made the call to dedicate this year's game to the man who made the franchise possible in the first place. To do so, rather than featuring an athlete on the cover of Madden NFL 23, EA Sports created 3 distinct covers to celebrate the 3 major areas of John Madden's contribution to the game of football. The first cover honors John Madden's contributions to the NFL as a coach, featuring him being carried off the field on the shoulders of his players following his head coaching victory in Super Bowl XI in 1976. Next up is an homage to his time as an NFL color commentator, which he did for CBS Sports, Fox Sports, ABC Sports, and NBC Sports from 1979 to 2009. The final Madden NFL 23 cover pays tribute to his contributions to his NFL video game franchise with a digital-only all-Madden edition. The art, created by Philadelphia artist Chuck Stiles, recreates the original 1988 John Madden football box art. Electronic Arts founder Trip Hawkins originally approached John Madden in 1984 to ask for his assistance in bringing football to video games in an authentic way. Because he didn't think the 8-bit systems of the time could handle 22 players on the field at once, Hawkins pitched Madden on a 7-on-7 variation. Madden scoffed at the idea of lowering the player count, insisting that it cannot be authentic football if it's not 11-on-11. Because of this, the first entry in the series, John Madden Football, took 4 years to create, with the game finally launching in 1988. Madden provided insight into how the game should work, strategies the team should implement, and the series' first playbooks. John Madden remained the face of the series, appearing on every game cover through 2000. That changed in 2001 when the franchise began using NFL stars and introducing the concept of the cover athlete for the franchise. However, Madden did return to the cover for a special commemorative edition of Madden NFL 07 to celebrate his induction into the NFL Hall of Fame. This is the first time in more than 20 years since John Madden has been featured on the standard cover of the game franchise. Madden remained involved with the development team through his role with the NFL, providing insight to developers about the league rules until his death in 2021. In addition to the special covers for this year's entry in the Madden NFL series, EA Sports is also implementing a special first interactive experience featuring 2 versions of Coach Madden leading opposing teams of all Madden athletes in the 1970s Oakland Coliseum. This special experience will feature the voice of John Madden on commentary through remastered audio clips that call back to his time as a broadcaster. EA is also deeming June 1 Madden Day to commemorate the original 1988 release date of John Madden Football. To celebrate, EA HQ in Redwood Shores is dedicating its newly renovated field as John Madden Field in a special ceremony with the EA CEO, members of the Madden family, EA employees, and more. Madden NFL 23 comes out later this year. So what do you think of them basically using this year's game to honor John Madden?
Well, it's John Madden is basically the backbone of the John Madden games by default, obviously, for over 35 years now. And he died earlier this year, so it sucks that he couldn't live another 5 years, maybe 10 years at the most. I never know much about him, but I heard he was a good coach, a good commentator. I listened to him while watching, if I recall correctly, that is, he must have broadcast it up until the early 2000s. And back in 2001, 2002, give or take, my friend, my childhood friend, who's the oldest of the 3 brothers, that I'm friends with his brothers as well, we watched NFL Super Bowl. And I was with the Giants versus some other team. And even though the Giants lost, he did good commentating last time I checked. If not the Super Bowl of 2002, it's definitely the 1990s. I heard of him throughout the decade, when I was with other guys, whether they're young as 10 years old or old as 50. I never really hang around too much with other guys when I was younger, since my dad passed away and all. So it's kind of like hard to really get the a man's feeling about the sport back in the '90s. So I can't explain it properly. I do watch football sometimes and basketball especially, as well as baseball with Tino Martinez. That was my favorite baseball player at the time. Um, but yeah, it's good. I can't get. It's a good time to celebrate his John Madden and a bad experience. Yes, and he has to die. He passed away. But I don't like the fact that they capitalized on his death for some extra points, extra profits. I wish there was some other way that they could have. Because if John Madden is died, not died, but if he was still alive up until the 40th, 30th anniversary, that'd be great. And that was what John Madden 1988, 89. That's the first John Madden.
Well, 1988 was the first game, so 2018 was the 30th anniversary.
They could have done something like that for John Madden, so you commemorate the 30th anniversary.
And this would have been the 35th anniversary.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Definitely. Holy crap! I never thought about that in that matter. So, yeah, it's
So it's a shame. It's a shame, man. John Madden's no longer with us. But yeah, I mean, I'm growing up, I really didn't watch sports, not at all. Now I only watch it if family is watching it, except for wrestling. But Madden, behind wrestling games, Madden has always been the sports game I play the most.
Oh yeah.
I'm honestly impressed. I didn't think EA would be this classy. I think this is a great way to honor him. Like we said, this is the 35th anniversary, 35 years since 1988. John Madden has been in his own games as, I think 2009 on the Wii had a virtual John Madden that would that would actually talk to the player, introducing all the different menus and everything. So yeah, it's a shame he's no longer with us, but I am impressed with everything they're doing to honor him. Ready to move on?
I'm ready.
Okay. Next, new dating action game Eder Knights challenges you to find love during an apocalypse. Sony's State of Play debuted a quirky dating action game called Eder Knights. In it, independent developer studio Psy invites you to find love in the most trying times, during an apocalypse. The game challenges you to make the most of life during this catastrophic situation. That means finding life and saving the world. When a mysterious entity infects humans and turns them into monsters, you must race against the clock to find an answer for survival, especially if you want to save your new relationship. In the game, you scavenge, dungeon crawl, and date your way to answers. But be aware that you're doing it all on a deadline, with a clock constantly ticking reminding you to meet your deadlines. Studio Psy promises dungeons with traps and puzzles alongside fun dancing minigames. You also get to pick from a cast of 5 characters for your romantic pursuits, each with their own unique stories and skills to help you battle. The action showcased in the trailer looks fast-paced and featured mostly hacking and slashing away at baddies while using the face buttons to unleash powerful skills and magical abilities. There was even a motorcycle sequence to get your adrenaline pumping. So get ready to hold hands, make out, and fight to stay alive when Eder Knights debuts on PS5, PS4, and PC sometime in early 2023. Does this game sound like something you would be interested in?
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't been paying attention too much at first, but if we're talking about the new dated action game, what's it called? Etern Knights, right?
Yeah.
I always good as Catherine. I mean, it's like the game Coffee Talk. It's not really a gameplay experience of Coffee Talk. It's more of a social, interaction experience with other races and species and the animals. Nature matters. So, if they do something sort of Coffee Talk, I would play it once in a while. If they did something close to Catherine, now that will be a game I'll keep going back and forth at.
I don't think it's going to be like either one, because they said you are going to be fighting off enemies, and you're going to have magical powers as well as hack and slash weapons to do it with.
Oh, so it's like Bayonetta Dante meets like Honey Pop.
Yeah.
Because Honey Pop is a dating simulator of sorts, and it's not much of actual gameplay, but more of puzzles and stuff. I mean, it is some gameplay, but it's like gameplay in a sense. So if they can do something similar with Catherine, a little bit of coffee talk at the same time, add a little Dante Bayonetta experience, it's like, I think there'll be a good clusterfuckery going on there.
And just so people know, this was just one game PlayStation debuted at their State of Play event. That they also had Resident Evil 4 remake. They had Resident Evil Village, maybe getting I think a VR game.
Yep, Resident Evil 4 has a VR experience as well.
Okay, yeah. So it's just a lot of stuff was at State of Play. So I just picked what I thought was interesting to me because Resident Evil 4 remake. It's like another one.
But it's VR this time. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, but I think we're also getting one for Resident Evil Village. I mean...
Really? I didn't know about the Village part, but definitely Resident Evil 4 will have a VR experience, especially the remake. Well, not the remake coming out, but the VR itself of the original game, last time I checked, so...
Yeah. But this dating during an apocalypse and then having to fight off enemies, that's definitely a game I'd be interested in if I had a PlayStation 5 or PS4.
Oh, yeah.
So... yeah, definitely sounds interesting to me. Ready to move on?
And it's called Eternights, right?
Eternights, yeah.
Eternights, okay.
Like Eternal.
Okay.
Ready to move on?
Yep.
Alright. Next, Sega reveals Mega Drive Mini 2, and here are the games confirmed for it so far. Sega has revealed its next miniature console, the Mega Drive Mini 2. This news comes by way of Video Game Chronicle, which reports that it will include 50 games from both the Mega Drive and Mega Drive CD, including ports of arcade games and games Sega calls mysterious new work. Sega revealed this mini console during a special live stream in Japan today. It included news that the company will release the Mega Drive Mini 2 on October 27th in Japan with a roughly $75 price tag. Sega has not confirmed a release outside of Japan, according to Video Game Chronicles. Video Game Chronicles reports that these are the confirmed games so far. Bonanza Brothers for Mega Drive, Fantasy Zone, because Fantasy Zone never hit the Mega Drive. This version is a port based on Super Fantasy Zone. Magical Taruroto for Mega Drive, Shining in the Darkness for Mega Drive, Thunder Force 4 for Mega Drive, Virtual Racing for Mega Drive, Mansion of Hidden Souls for Mega Drive CD, Popful Mail for Mega Drive CD, Shining Force CD for Mega CD, Silpede for Mega CD, and Sonic CD for Mega CD. The Mega Drive Mini 2 follows 2019's Mega Drive Mini, first announced in 2018. Do you hope the Sega Drive Mini 2 comes to the West?
Well, it would be nice for it to come to the West, but you know how Sega and Capcom and and Nintendo are. They like to they like to stay homage to their wherever they are, in a sense, or homey like in where they are in Japan, or at least in the Far East. And it would be nice one day to go to Japan and see what they have that the United States doesn't have when it comes to gaming experiences and gaming content. So if I get my hands on getting import versions at the actual source in person in Japan, like Tokyo, Japan, perhaps go over to the archipelago islands of the Japan and stuff. So it's like, why not, see about the matter one day. Hopefully, I'll probably go to Japan one day before I'm 50, if not,
Did you hear about the first Sega Genesis Mini?
I don't remember at all. I remember that the Mega Drive was available back in the 1990s, but that was it.
Well, Mega Drive was just a Genesis name outside the United States. Now, a few years ago, like 2018, I actually saw it in stores when I first came down here. I wish I had picked it up then. There was a Sega Genesis console. It was a small Sega Genesis, it had like 20 arcade games and then 20 Sega Genesis games. The arcade games were quick pick up and play, but there were games like Sonic the Hedgehog, Shinobi, all built in. The way this was different from the NES and SNES minis is that there was the slot on top of the Genesis was big enough where you could fit actual Genesis cartridges in there and play games that weren't built in. So, but if you didn't have any Genesis cartridges lying around, you still had access to these. I think the final count was 40 games. So this is Sega Genesis. This is another one. I hope it does come to the West. I always regretted not picking up the first one. I only saw it one time when I first came down here.
Right.
But the second one, especially Sonic CD, Shining Force, and these are just some of the games that are coming. We don't know the full list.
Oh yes, indeed.
But you have this console, plug in, play, and you don't need anything else. So I hope it does come to the United States. It'll be a shame if it doesn't.
Okay.
Ready to move on?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. The best Xbox Game Pass Ultimate promotion is back. New and returning subscribers can get their first 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate for only $1. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate continues to be one of the best values in gaming thanks to its robust library of first-party exclusives and wide assortment of third-party games. Even at its regular price of $15 per month, Game Pass Ultimate is a pretty darn good deal. But if you've been thinking about subscribing, right now is the best time to do it. Microsoft has brought back its best Game Pass Ultimate promotion. New subscribers can get their first 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate for $1. Microsoft has always offered new subscribers their first month for $1, but it's not common for a deal like this one to pop up. If you're a lapsed subscriber, it's possible that you'll be able to take advantage of this deal as a returning member too. A Game Pass Ultimate subscription grants access to hundreds of Xbox and PC games, and more games are added to the library each month. You can also stream supported titles on your phone via Xbox Cloud Gaming. Ultimate subscribers get the perks of Xbox Live Gold too, including free monthly games. After your 3-month trial period ends, you'll be charged $15 per month unless you cancel. If you're interested in Game Pass but mainly play on PC, you can also take advantage of this offer on a PC Game Pass subscription. PC Game Pass normally costs $10 per month, but right now you can get your first 3 months for, you guessed it, $1. So, what do you think of this promotion for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate?
Well, if it's still in the same price range, if not cheaper, that would be great because I currently spent already a $60 gold membership along with a 1 month Ultimate Pass membership. So put those two together, rather than having a full year of gold, I get about say 6 to 8 months more added to my Xbox account. And if I were to add the games with gold, the Ultimate Edition, it created, I would say, about 2 more, at most 3 more months of this Ultimate experience. So I wish they could put this new promo back a month or 2 ago. That would be great for me. Now, but I feel like I've saved money no matter what I do with doing these combinations with these different types of services from Xbox Live. But it'd be nice to have that already in hand, right? A month ago. But if Xbox is having the Ultimate sale, I'll check it out. If I can afford it, I'll try to buy it sometime next week.
No, like they said, it's only $1. I might go on Xbox One, and I have I had renewed my Xbox games with gold till August. But for just $1 more, I get 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate, and maybe they'll convert my games with gold subscription already into a little more Ultimate time. Maybe. That would be great. And the thing is, like I said, I've been disappointed with the games with gold selection for a while now. So I think the best thing to do would be to go to Game Pass Ultimate. Would you agree?
I've been doing that for at least a couple of years now, Ultimate. So yeah, I mean the original pricing, like if you want to bring everything all in of all services, Xbox Live, if as well as include the EA access, you'll spend at least $175 a year on regular pricing of the services if you want to get the 1 year full experience. So
I don't think I'd be able to afford that. When these 3 months end, I would have to do it month by month. The $15.
but then that adds up if you don't save with 3 months or even 6 months. So it's like
No,
it's like
I don't even know what tiers they offer for Game Pass Ultimate. So obviously, I don't even know what subscription deals they offer for Game Pass Ultimate.
They offer a bunch. For like I said, the first month is $14.99 for the Ultimate Pass. Third 3 months is about $50 approximately, give or take, plus tax and all, obviously. And if you want to get a full year's worth, you have to do it 3 times a month of the Ultimate Pass. 3 months, 3 times at least 4 times, something like that. Here's what I do. Like I said before, I bought the gold membership for 1 year for about $60. Combine that with a 1 month with the gold membership, and then created this 9 months extra, at most 10 months extra of Ultimate Pass experiences. So it's kind of like a deal breaker. It's a good deal. It's great.
So I could definitely spare another $1 so to get 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, I would rather get the $1 for the time being than worry about getting with the other stuff like I did earlier this year. But
if money happens to be a problem 3-4 months later, I could always just go back to the Games with Gold subscription until I can afford a Game Pass Ultimate again.
And the games and the Gold membership by itself is about $10 a month. 6 months is about $39.99 a year. And if you want to get a 1 year membership, if you can find these codes or find these package codes, the physical card, it would be like about $50 to $75. Depends on where you live.
Back then, the last time when they used to offer it on the console itself, Xbox Game Pass, not Game Pass, Xbox Games with Gold for a full year was $65. After tax and everything, it was like $65.16. But the thing is, when I went to renew my Xbox Games with Gold back in May last month, they didn't offer a 12-month subscription. They only offered 1 month and 3 months.
Right.
So, and like I said, normally I was happy with it, but I'm really upset with, really not happy with Games with Gold. Not really happy of games with the selection of Games with Gold. Yeah. Now it's really more about the online playing of games like Gears of War 4, and how I can download any game I own because I can only hold so many on my Xbox One. Anyway, but yeah, I definitely am thinking of capitalizing on this offer later tonight.
Definitely will too. I got the extra $1.
Ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, we only got a couple of articles left. All right. Rollerdrome is like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but with guns. It's like Max Payne, Jet Set Radio, and my friend Pedro had a baby together. Is that possible? Last night's State of Play presentation from Sony was actually pretty good. We got a July 19th release date for the adorable cat game Stray. Resident Evil 4 Remake turned out to be a real thing that's coming next year. And Final Fantasy 16 showed off some sumptuous gameplay. There was some really solid stuff, but among all the high-profile sequels and expected remakes was one game I didn't see coming, an extreme rollerblading game called Rollerdrome, developed by Oil World creator Roll7. and holy shit, this game looks freaking dope. Okay. Just trying to... Rollerdrome is a third-person action shooter. That sounds run-of-the-mill, and it certainly can be at times. But Roll 7 took this standard premise and added a cool twist. Extreme rollerblading, replete with quarter pipes and metal railings called coping you can trick off of. So what you end up with is a fluid momentum-based shooter that seems to mix elements from Jet Set Radio, My Friend Pedro, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater into one sleek-ass package. That's the key selling point for me, the amalgam of genres. Momentum shooters like Doom, while exhilarating, rely almost exclusively on their first-person shooter underpinnings to carry the weight. Devolver Digital's frenetic first-person game Boomerang X built on id Software's foundation, implementing slowdown mechanics to get you thinking about enemy positioning in relation to your own, but still felt limited by its adherence to the first-person shooter genre. I've not played Rollerdrome yet, so it's too soon to say whether it delivers on its potential. However, just from the trailer alone, I get the sense that Roll 7's attempting to stretch the limits of the momentum shooter. I mean, that cel-shaded, almost comic book-esque art style, that bumping 80s synth soundtrack, the variety of environments and weapons and enemies, and then all the tricks as the skater flips around and fills goons with bullets while collecting gold coins or something. There's even a Trictionary to learn new moves if you want to get a higher score or just look even cooler by pulling off flashier maneuvers. The collision of all these elements looks and sounds complicated. It also seems like a blast. A game that's probably both edge-of-your-seat exciting and break-your-controller maddening. I'm here for whatever outcome. So, So, thankfully, we don't have to wait too long to find out. Rollerdrome hits PC, PS4, and PS5 on August 19th. It's also launching on other consoles, though not at least till February 16, 2023. Sorry about it, Nintendo and Xbox. So, what do you think of this new game, Rollerdrome?
Well, if it's like a shooter game meets Tony Hawk Pro Skater, I mean, it sounds similar to that Twisted Metal. Well, obviously, Twisted Metal involves driving a car and shooting other cars in the process. So it's just an actual person now with a skateboard to shoot other people, right? Is it something similar like that?
Yeah, it's basically going to be skateboard riding and first-person or third-person shooting.
Okay, it sounds like an extreme sport, like you hear.
You mean not skateboarding? Maybe rollerblading, as they call it, but
rollerblade. Oh my god! Wait,
it's called.
Is it rollerblade or skateboarding?
I don't know. They said Jet Set Radio, was that rollerblading or?
I don't remember playing that game. I don't
okay.
Well,
basically,
yeah.
Well, basically, it's gonna be one of the other. But yeah, you can do tricks, and you're gonna be able to shoot while on I guess rollerblading. That's why it's called Rollerdrome. It sounds like a cool game. PS players get it early, but if Nintendo and Xbox fans have to wait at least till February of next year. Mm-hmm. Which is fine with me, since I got so many other games to get into.
Oh, yeah.
Ready to move on for the final?
Yep.
Alright. Looks like Street Fighter VI's entire roster may have already leaked. Ryu, Chun-Li, and Luke are joined by Ken, Cammy, Guile, and so many more. The most recent state of play included a brief look at Street Fighter VI, which is currently set for a 2023 launch. But a new Capcom fighting game often means we're in store for some Capcom fighting game leaks. This time around, it only took a few hours for artwork of what appears to be a sizable chunk of the Street Fighter VI roster to show up online. The images in question began to proliferate through social media Thursday evening, revealing several characters that will be playable in Street Fighter VI. Ryu, Chun-Li, and Luke are sporting their updated designs. Of course, as well as no newcomers Jamie, and Kimberly, but don't let that fool you. This is a massive deal that potentially blows away months of Capcom's drip-feed marketing plans for the game. Kotaku contacted Capcom for comment, but did not hear back before publication. All in all, the Street Fighter VI leak pulls back the curtain on almost 20 individual characters, including series veterans like Ken, Zangief, Dulcim, Edmund Honda, Blanca, Guile, Cammy, DJ, Rashid, Juri, Ed, and Akuma. The real excitement, at least in my mind, comes from the fresh faces standing alongside the old-timers, which I've done my best to describe in the list below. Marissa, the most striking of the bunch, and possibly an attempt by Capcom to further capitalize on the internet's giant lady fixation, is a stats-esque Italian woman with an MMA-like getup and a serious case of helmet hair. French debutante Mimi, with her judo outfit, is giving me big Abel from Street Fighter IV vibes, despite having much better style. Lily is a Mexican girl wearing engineer's garb and wielding a pair of clubs that may be based on the Aztec Quetzalcoatl. I have no idea how to say that. A lot of folks seem to think JP, a dapper Russian, is connected to Street Fighter 3's Q and Street Fighter 5's G somehow. All I know is that peach-colored suit is working for him. Kimberly, who was prominently teased at the end of yesterday's Street Fighter 6 presentation, will be the series' first playable black woman. I really love her gigantic braids and Walkman. And finally, AKI is an assassin-looking character from China, whose name and appearance have been compared to Street Fighter V villain Fang. So what do you think of these? So what do you think of the Street Fighter roster?
Well, to be honest with you, I never heard of the new players you mentioned, but the ones that returning back, obviously the Ken, Ryu, Bison, who else? The stretchy guy, the stretch Dowsum, you call him, okay.
Honda,
and Cammy, Chung
Yep.
Li. That'd be great. But what I don't feel impressed about Street Fighter 6 coming up soon, in its release, is the logo they fucked up on of Street Fighter 6. What they did was that they copy and paste an old logo from like some other video game project or an actual company and use it for their own doing. For their game Capcom, which is kind of lazy on their part. Usually, when it comes to Capcom, you think of like, Devil May Cry. You think of the Street Fighter games and other games out there that they made on and off. Whether it's team up with SNK for the big SNK versus Capcom fighting games, because they do good jobs with their games. And Street Fighter 6, it looks like they're especially since Street Fighter 5. Capcom became lazy since then, and I hope that there wasn't no big, huge new gen workers there, like new generation workers working for Capcom that are too lazy. That's fucking ridiculous right there, because I expect Capcom to be the best of the best of gaming studios out there. So
yeah, I've got to be honest. I really have. Street Fighter 2, back on like Genesis and stuff, that's really where it was the best Street Fighter for me. Even, I played Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition not too long ago on BitChute. And it's just, So, Street Fighter 6, I'll definitely try it out, if it's a free play day or if it's on Game Pass, but I'm just really, I'm with you. While I'm interested in Street Fighter, it's not something that's blowing my socks off.
Yeah, indeed.
It's just basically, I think the whole reason I care about it is because of all the great memories growing up with Street Fighter 2. And that's all we have for tonight. That was episode number 40. Was this 47 or 48? I forget.
48. Episode 48 currently done for the night.
Yep. So this was episode number 48 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I hope you enjoyed. going through this gaming news with us. Our next podcast will be in 2 weeks, 13 days since it's past midnight on the East Coast. That's going to be on June 18th at 9 p.m. East, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope to see you there. Anything else you want to say before we go?
I just want you guys know, to those that I can hear this recorded, whether it's now or a few months from now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do as much game playing during the summertime as I thought I would, because I only have a week off from school as late as July. So it's making that August actually. So most of the summer is at least half the summer is going to be mainly game playing for about at least once a week, sometimes up to 3 times a week. Depends upon my schedule. I could also do other projects like reviews, previews. You see me doing my War Antics series, and I'm up to number 2 so far. You can check that out on my main channel. And if you don't like my other content, just check out my gaming content. You know, it's a give and take. Like I can help you guys understand where I come from with my politics, but you know that's my own old shtick back in the day. So I appreciate you guys for sticking around, who are listening in and following us for the last several months, if not years now. So thank you. That's all.
Right. Yeah. So also go to the About section of my Twitch profile. There's a link to my BitChute channel. I haven't been really doing Let's Plays. I've been more focusing on Twitch streams instead. So Let's Plays I've really been neglecting. There's also a link to my price charting store where I have old and new video games for sale. So check that out to see if I have anything you're interested in. And hopefully I'll see you on my next stream, which I do plan to be Sunday at some time. So follow me. So when you know when I go live on Twitch. Until next time, good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.